Hello. Hello. Happy Sunday. Woo! Another week is about to end, and now I gotta go back to work tomorrow. Damn, why did I come back on the stream? Now it's reminding me that I gotta go to work tomorrow. Boo! But, not all's bad in the world. You're not gonna be able to see it. But I have 5G in my arm now. Although they lied to me. My internet's still about the same. I don't know. I don't. All these conspiracies. Nothing but lies, I tell you. Told me I was going to get some amazing 5G internet since I got this chip in my arm, and now it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm so disappointed. Now, otherwise, 22 hours since I got it. Very, very slight, discomfort, but it's not like I can't lift my arm. I can do whatever the hell I want with this. I feel like a little bit of a cold potentially coming, but I don't know if that's indicative of the vaccine or the fact that I've gone, the entire year thus far without getting sick, and this is just it finally catching up to me. But we'll see. I'm a little stuffed up today, but we'll see how long that lasts me. Otherwise, how's everybody doing? I see Defiance lurking in my chat as per always. I think my if I'm reading my user list right, I think my favorite hydrating guy is in here too. So this is gonna. I should have brought 4 glasses of water, I think, at this point, but I guess we'll see how that goes. But otherwise, we have got a lot to talk about. I mean, I'm going to probably do a bit of both today. I'm going to do the Final Fantasy chat and grind stream, and then I'll probably switch on to Mass Effect once my topics are done. Because I do have a bunch to talk about, and I want to get that out of the way first. And I still do want to play some Mass Effect, because Lord knows I haven't yet. I haven't played it in friggin' forever. Because Lord knows, I hate the fact that I do 2 podcasts and have other things that go on in my life that keep me from streaming more often. Because, those who aren't familiar with my streaming schedule, so the way that I run is I only usually run Sunday and Monday. Now, I'm not going to go Monday because my Toronto Maple Leafs in the National Hockey League decided that they can't close a series for 2 games, and now it's Game 7 on Monday night, and I have to watch that because as a Canadian, I will be deported if I don't. So, not cool. I don't have that many channel points yet. Oh, I know it's coming, though. Don't kid yourself. I know it's coming. But yeah, I won't be here Monday because I'm going to be potentially punching my television screen if the Leafs somehow don't win this game again. That's a whole other thing. I do actually have to rant about sports fans later on our chat and grind stream. There's definitely some kinds of sports fans I have a problem with, and I'd love to get that out. I do want to talk about also this whole PlayStation investors call thing where they showed that apparently up from 18% since the original PlayStation, now female ownership of the consoles are 41%, and people lost their shit over that stat for some reason. I want to talk about that. And then there's other fun stuff. Believe me, I'm not just going to talk about serious shit the entire time. I'm going to talk about things like Skull and Bones being an absolute colossal failure in its development cycle. I want to talk about Final Fantasy being a little bit annoying to me personally because I feel like they don't like making the games that got them to the dance in the first place. And then things like the Horizon Forbidden Dawn State of Play and Uncharted 4 coming to PC. That's among maybe some other things. But as always, anybody in the chat here, if you got questions, any comments, you want to strike up a conversation here, this is the place to do it. I will answer basically any question you give me as long as A, within reason, and B, something I can actually answer. You know, if you ask me some fucking crazy science shit, I'm going to be like, that's all I can pull. So, but otherwise, I think I've delayed this long enough. Let's boot up some Final Fantasy 15 or 14. Jesus. 15 has a few more cars, although I think there is a car mount in this game, so maybe I'm not completely wrong in that. But last we were completely done leveling up the archer so we can get back to Limsa and become a rogue because we like being dashing and making quips all the time. So we're gonna do that, but first we have to finish some more story stuff because the game's like, no man, you gotta play stuff first. You gotta at least do a couple of things before we let you do what you want. So now I gotta remember where the hell this thing is. So I gotta go to the Shroud again. Yeah, it was certainly interesting getting my vaccine done yesterday. I went in the afternoon. Apparently getting appointment times doesn't mean anything because I still had to line up and sat there for forever. So I guess booking an appointment didn't really mean anything. It was just more of a formality, I guess. And it was a little frustrating because I've always been the type, like, I think I said this last week, I don't understand how people, like, in grocery stores, for example, have such an inability to see that there is a sign that tells you this is what aisle you need to walk in, social distance, all that stuff. The same thing happened at a fucking vaccination point where there were literally lines on the sidewalk saying, hey, this is where everybody needs to stand to get in line, and people were just standing out in the parking lot. Like, I'm looking around being like, am I the only person, like, that sees what's going on? Like, am I the only one that notices the bright-ass red lines on the sidewalk? Apparently the answer was yes. Because then I got outside after my vaccination, and it was even worse. Like, literally in the fucking road. Like, they could have been hit by a car. Like, I'm pretty sure cars had to go around some people. And I'm sitting there being like, do they not see it? I guess they don't see it. I always say, like, I'm surprised. When it comes to disappointing, humanity never really disappoints, but at the same time, I'm still consistently surprised by, like, the level of dumb that I come across in the world. It's just jarring sometimes, you know? Because you think, like, okay, no, people are gonna fucking figure this out, and then you watch them, like, think of the dumbest response to what they see. It's like, when I think red lines and social distancing stickers, I say, oh, that's where they want us to stand. Because, I mean, the same goes even before the pandemic. If you were, like, standing in line at a convention, they usually have, like, tape on the floor to say, like, here's where the line is. And generally speaking, people adhere to that because, you know, you want to get into the place you're going to. Apparently these people, though, were like, I don't care, I just want this needle in my arm so I can fucking go out and see people now. Because like I said last week, that's the only part that I'm worried about, is that people are now going to think they're bulletproof because they've gotten one needle in the arm. And that scares me because I don't want to be getting COVID, because I'm only, like, partially protected. I'm not fully protected at this point. Not to mention, I don't want to get people I know sick who either haven't gotten the vaccine or are still pretty susceptible to it with one shot. So there's a lot of worry there. And it does drive me a little bit crazy. Oh, there's another point here. I'm ignoring you. I want to get this thing done. So where do I gotta go anyway? So I'm going, actually, the right way. Who knew? I actually go the right way for once. I don't know, though, man. I just want to... Like I said last week, I just want to get this friggin' done with. Like, I want August or September to come around, because now the vaccines are coming out a little bit quicker here in Canada, so we might actually be able to get the second doses earlier than September, even though the government was saying, like, end of September was their end point. Now it seems like we might actually get it quicker. Apparently I have a new ability. I didn't read what it is yet. I'm almost, like, paying little attention to it because I know that I'm going to be taking Archer off and going to Rogue as soon as I can. So what does it do? Oh, it's just a bigger attack. Okay, done. Please don't hurt me. But regardless, I'm happy. At least, you know, I'm halfway there now. And it was really easy. The first thing I thought when I got the needle in the arm was, wait, as a kid, I used to bitch about this? I was pretty embarrassed, because, like, yeah, you feel it going in, but, like, that's it. You just hear a tiny, like, boop, and you're like, oh, that's it. And as a kid, you obviously treat it like you're getting shot. Which is kind of, like I said, makes me feel a little bit embarrassed, because, I must have, because, you know, being a kid and all, I must have been so melodramatic about it. When in reality, I had, like, the bare minimum done to me. I laughed to myself as soon as it happened, because I'm like, man, this is nothing. This is literally nothing. What was I complaining about as a kid? Now, I will say, there are still some things, like, that you get done to you for, like, medical purposes that I still don't like. I don't like the blood pressure taker thing, like the coil they wrap around your arm and squeeze it really tight, because it just feels really uncomfortable. Like, it feels like all of a sudden your arm's, like, getting all bubbly, and I know that's why they do it. I hate the feeling of it. And I still kind of hate getting blood taken, because it's the same thing as the needle going in, but instead of, you know, something going in with the vaccine, it's stuff coming out, and I do feel that. And it's a little bit of a weird feeling, but it's not like, oh my god, it's the worst thing in the world. It's more just like, it's kind of uncomfortable, and I just don't like it. I'll still do it. I'm not gonna be the child crying about it, but I'm gonna be like, man, I hate it when I have to get that. But I'm gonna do it because, you know, you're supposed to. You kind of gotta want to be healthy. I know. As gamers, all we care about is eating Doritos and just sitting in our chair and just collecting fat over and over. But I guess once in a while, you got to take care of yourself a little bit, I guess. You know, once in a while. Just maybe I'll just have a couple more apples, because apparently they keep the doctor away. I don't know if that's statistically proven, but hey, we always believe a wives' tale, don't we? Even though they never think. Every time my parents used to tell me, like, for example, oh, don't go back in the pool after you ate, you'll get a cramp. I'm like, that sounds dumb as shit. Like, even as a kid, I'm like, that's dumb. That makes no sense. I feel like I might be fighting something I shouldn't be, right? Well, it's level 10, I'm level 12. This shouldn't be that bad. Just don't fight them together. That's one down. It's because I see the book. Even though I don't want the... Actually, you know what? Nope, screw it. I'm leaving it alone. I don't need to be doing it. Also, I went the wrong way in the first place anyway. I keep thinking like, oh, but these things will get me experience, and then my brain kind of clicks back in and goes, wait, I'm not trying to get experience on this class. I'm trying to get out of this class. See, I'm one of those dum-dums that you guys know about. Actually get through that? Oh, you suck, invisible wall. There is clearly a gap there. I can make that jump. But yeah, first vaccine's in my arm. The internet's still slow, is still not as fast as it's supposed to be, so I'm upset about that, but otherwise, it's another thing done, and we can worry about more shit later. So, the first core rant that I wanted to go on, like I said, is about sports fans. I don't want to, actually, give me one second. I'm going to put the chat up here on my phone, just in case, because I got some notes that I'm going to go over. So, I'm going to be very careful about, because if you guys start chatting and I can't see because I'm looking at my notes, because I only have 2 monitors, I really should be smart and actually give myself a way to see what you guys are saying if that happens. So there we go. Now we're fixed. So I'm going to pull up my notes here because I'm going to be staring at this for a little bit. So I'm a sports fan, so it's going to sound a little bit stupid when I talk about how I hate certain sports fans. Where the hell is this guy standing? Is he inside a building? Must be a different guy. Oh, there is a way in here. Okay, that I didn't see. But yeah, I'm still a big sports fan. I mean, like I said, I'm just going to be skipping my Monday stream because of a hockey game, but there are specific kinds of sports fans that drive me absolutely nuts, and it's been for different reasons back and forth. Oh, where do I start? Well, this whole thing honestly started because of Game 1 of the Toronto Maple Leafs and Montreal Canadiens, where I'm not going to pull up images, I'm not going to pull up the video thing because it's pretty brutal. So if you want to see it, you can search it up on your own. So if you really want to see it and you haven't seen it, look up John Tavares' injury, and you probably will at least see pictures of it. Most of the video has been scrubbed, like the major source, like Sportsnet, who had the game on, or CBC, I think it was at the same time, they've hid that clip because it's not good to look at. Like it's pretty brutal. So the gist of what happened is that Montreal Canadiens player Ben Sherratt kind of clipped John Tavares, you know, just to kind of knock him out of the play, and John kind of fell like sideways and kind of just fell to the ice. And as soon as he fell, he lifted his head up. And another skater, because this all happens so fast. People really underestimate how fast the game of hockey goes. He essentially accidentally like ran dead into John. Like Corey Perry was the guy's name, and his knee basically went straight into the chin of John Tavares at a very high speed. And in the slow-mo, it looks like he legit like snapped his neck back. Like I thought he might have broken his neck. Like it was a scary sight. And it wasn't even the scariest thing that happened. After he got hurt and the trainers came out, the trainers, for those who saw the clip and thought like, what the hell are these guys doing? So what you're supposed to do, like I can't remember the guy's name, but I'm subscribed to him now on YouTube because of this video. He is a doctor that specializes or sorry, doesn't specialize, that does his channel like going through like sports injuries and like telling you like the specifics of what, you know, people are looking for when they're trying to treat the guy when he's on the field or on the ice, or what potentially this might mean for a guy down the road, things like that. And when he was talking about the injury, the one thing that a lot of people got really upset about was that, you know, while John is on the ground, they thought that they were trying to pick him up, when in reality, what happened is that, or that they were like choking him. Some people thought that they were like, the guy was actually choking John, and I'm like, what? So what happened is that when you think a guy might have a neck injury, the guy will put two hands in separate spots around the guy's neck to cradle the cervical spine, so that if there's an actual injury, they're keeping the bone from, you know, or from him, like, essentially, like, breaking, like, injuring himself further, because if he's already got a broken neck, like, you're trying to keep the neck as straight and solid as possible so that it doesn't crank back again and cause further injury. So they do that, and during that process, John, because he's got a serious concussion, there's no doubt about it that he's got a serious-ass concussion, and he tries to get up because all he can think of is, I gotta play, my team needs me, I gotta do something. And in the process of doing that, he's still out like a light, and he falls back, and you see like the eyes go in the back of his head, like it's a really creepy sight, like it looks like he's like dying almost. That scared the shit out of me, because I've never seen that before without it being like something super serious, you know? So all that happened, and the game carried on, unfortunately, because, I mean, you have to. Like, you can't just stop the game for that. Because, I mean, much worse has happened, and, I mean, the games have got to get played at some point anyway. The Leafs ended up losing that game, which was not surprising to most. And at work the next day, somebody that I regularly have to deal with at my work, it's not a coworker, but it's somebody that I regularly have to deal with, came in, and the first thing he did was walk in the room and be like, "Go, Leafs, go!" like mockingly. And I kind of just looked at him and I said, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Dude, after that game, you think I give a shit about what happened in that game? Do you really believe that after I nearly watched a guy die, because that's what I thought like could have happened, because if your neck's broken, like that can be so serious, not to mention like the amount of head trauma that could have created, like you never know. There's so many possibilities of like the worst possible things happening. So like at that point, I didn't care, like I didn't watch the game either. I couldn't. I was so put off because of that injury. So like I had no interest in the game, and this guy, who apparently didn't seem to care about the safety of a player, was sitting there just mocking me because I happen to be the fan of a team that he doesn't like. And that's going to be a big core of this entire rant that I'm going to go on over the course of what's probably going to be about a half an hour, because this is a pretty angry subject that I want to go on. I don't understand the irrational hatred that fans have for certain teams. Like, I get hate, like, if you're a Leafs fan or a Montreal Canadiens fan, I get hating the Boston Bruins because Boston usually beats the shit out of you. They have a player in Brad Marchand that's a bit of a jackass. But, like, I'll say it straight up. I don't hate the Bruins. I might hate, like, Brad Marchand. I might hate certain guys on that team. But I don't really hate the team. I just, kind of don't want them to win. But it's not a hate. Hate is such a strong word. I don't hate a lot of things. I hate the sports fans that irrationally hate shit. So there's, like, that example. And I'll get on to more of that. Actually, no, I'll do the irrational hatred stuff first before I get on to the next thing. Yeah, like, I've seen people who legitimately will forever hate a team because of one game or, like, a period of, like, a couple of years. Like, for example, Toronto and Montreal play each other, and the fan bases hate each other, even though up until this year, the team had not met each other in the playoffs since the 70s. So think about that for a second. You have two teams that despise each other, even though they have never played a game against each other of any note in over 40 years. 40 years. How do you hate a team that has done nothing to you for 4 decades? I don't hate, like, I've seen people say, like, oh, I fucking hate the Canadians. Like, if you're a Leafs fan, or, like, if you're a Canadians fan, you hate the Leafs. And I sit there and I go, why? For what purpose? What's the point? it doesn't mean anything. I keep hitting the wrong button. I want to hit my inventory. There we go. But, like, I see it all the time, and I'm sitting there going, like, guys, what have they done? Like, I asked the same question to the Boston fan who was laughing about the Tavares injury. And I said, seriously, you tell me, what makes you hate a team so bad? Because these are the same guys that like to chant that 1967 is the last time the Leafs won a Stanley Cup. And I'm willing to take that hit because also, I'll say this too, 2004 is the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won a playoff round. That's embarrassing, by the way. That's 17 years. Not as embarrassing as it being 1993 is the last time a Canadian hockey team has won a championship, which is even more annoying to me. But for my team that I cheer for, it's been 17 years since they've done anything, really. And I straight up said to him, it's like, what makes you hate a team that hasn't won anything in 50 years and hasn't won a single round in 17? And the only two things he could come up with was that fans are insufferable because they always are, they're like, oh, there's always next year. And he hates the fact that the media doesn't stop talking about them. So first of all, you're mad at a fan base because they're optimistic and they want to like the team they cheer for? Okay, first off, fuck you for that. That's retarded. I'm sorry to use the R slur, but that's really fucking dumb. And then secondly, because of the media coverage of the team. So for those who don't know, in Canada, the biggest channels for sports coverage are centered in Toronto. Toronto is also the biggest city in Canada, which means it has the biggest fan base. It is the highest, I believe, I'm pretty sure of this, the highest grossing team, like the richest team in Canada. So all these things combined, is it not obvious that Toronto gets the love? Because, and the funny thing is like, I know these people are mostly bitching because they're in Toronto and all that's talked about is the Leafs. No fucking shit, it's the home team. But outside of Toronto, outside of Ontario, I see like Vancouver, for example, British Columbia, the literal farthest west point of the country. And they hate the Leafs for the same reason, because of coverage. Well, Vancouver, I'd hate to tell you, but CBC is based in Toronto. So Hockey Night in Canada, of course, is going to give Toronto more love because it's where they fucking live. And I'll also remind you, Vancouver, yes, I know that you guys have won more playoff series, but you don't have a cup to show for it either. And I've seen the same thing from all these fans that chant 1967 at Leafs. Canadians fans, you haven't won in 30 years. Calgary fans, you haven't won in over 30 years. Edmonton fans, you haven't won in over 30 years. Ottawa and Vancouver, you haven't won. Let me remind you, neither of you have won. So none of us have anything to talk about. Now, sure, Ottawa has been the closest to success for a while. Edmonton had one chance at the Cup in this millennium. Calgary has as well. Ottawa was so close to getting there a second time. So they might have a little more to show for it. But Montreal, since 1993, you have nothing to show for it. You haven't made a final. Vancouver, you made it in 94. And otherwise, like all the other teams, like none of these teams have done anything. And they spend so much time. And I hate using this word, but I'm going to use it. You let Toronto sit rent-free in your head, even though they've done nothing. This is a team that, to your words, have said have not won anything in 50 years, have not even won a round in almost 20 years. So let me ask that question again. Why do you care so much then about this team? Why do you let them dictate your fandom and dictate your brain, your emotional fortitude? A team that doesn't do anything. That's ridiculous. And I've seen the same, like, in football. Like, everybody jokes about the Cleveland Browns for so long because they never win. But yet they constantly will talk about them. And it's like, guys, if you don't care about this team, if you think they're a joke, why are you talking about them? It's the same with a lot of these things. And it's just insane to me. And then we go beyond that. When we talk about, like, for example, the biggest extreme in soccer or football, depending on where you are. The fact that there are people out there that would legitimately want to get into a fight with fans of a certain team just because they're a fan of that team. The fact that in European football or soccer, like I said, depending on where you are, the fact that there are separate entrances for visiting fans, like it's fucking a blacks-only entrance. And they have, like, some places have, like, chain link fences to separate the fans so they can't jump each other. Think about that for a sec. For a fucking game. That's insane to me. That's a joke. The fact that you guys apparently can't be good little boys and girls to fans of a team that you don't like. I was a Blue Jays fan, a game against the Detroit Tigers where I was sitting like front row behind first base, and there were Detroit Tigers fans right next to us, and we playfully joked at each other the entire game, and by the end of it, we were like, oh man, thanks for being a good sport, enjoy the rest of your fucking time here, like, you know? It was a fun, oh man, oh, what are you guys gonna do? Like, if you get the lead and you're like, oh, what's happened to your guy? And then when it happens to us, they're like, oh, and that's it. We don't go, fuck you, I'm gonna kick your ass. Like, and the same goes for like when the World Cup comes around. It gets to the point of like people hating like actual like nations, countries over this shit. I'm like, what? Like it's almost like people become racist because of sports, and that's insane to me. Now, granted, I guess I shouldn't be that surprised because we do a bunch of really stupid shit as, you know, a fucking society. But it's insane to me that just because you apparently, like, one time this country or this team beat your country or your team in a fucking game, that you now don't like anybody that hails from that country or is a card-carrying fan of that team that beat you that one time. It's insane to me. It's so childish. Like, that's literally all I can say is it's fucking childish. And then when you get to the point of death threats, and this is where we lean into Ethan Bear, which happened not too long after the John Tavares thing. This is why this whole rant came in. Originally, it was just the Tavares thing, and I was just like, man, this is a thing that really annoys the crap out of me. And I really just wanted to put some sort of a light to it. But the Ethan Bear thing happened afterwards, and that drove me crazy. So, to put that into perspective, so the Edmonton Oilers lost to the Winnipeg Jets. Oh yeah, I forgot about the Jets. The Jets haven't won either. So, but I think Jets fans are probably like, in my opinion, the Jets fans have been the most chill of all, because at this point they're still happy they have a fucking team, because they used to not for so long. So I think they're pretty happy about that. The Jets swept the Oilers when the Oilers were the overwhelming favorites because they have arguably the two best forwards in the entire NHL. Like, they're amazing. They're absolutely incredible. Like, they are... Like, Connor McDavid is their best player, and he is legitimately the Wayne Gretzky of this generation. And might even be better than Gretzky by the end of it. If you talk about, like, if you adjust for eras... Connor McDavid might actually be a better player overall than Wayne Gretzky. It's actually possible when this is all said and done, which is insane. But he's that good. He's that incredible. And, you know, it drives me crazy for his sake that his team just can't seem to do the thing. Like this, the best player is not being able to play, which is pretty disappointing. It's really sad because you want them to do well. And it's just not working, which sucks, because, like, you want... It's like how, I'm a big baseball fan, and I'm really sad that, like, Mike Trout, who is legitimately the best player in baseball, maybe even one of the best players of all time, when this is all said and done. The LA Angels really haven't done much since he's been there, and it makes you feel sad, too, because you're like, man, this guy is so good. Like, I want the best for this guy, because he deserves it, and he's not getting it. The same goes for McDavid. Like, the guy is so good. Like, I don't want Edmonton to beat my team, but when I watch him play, I'm like, man, this kid is unreal. I could never imagine trying to play defense against a guy with that skill set. And it was pretty crazy when the Edmonton Oilers, like I said, got swept. Because everybody just figured they were going to wipe the floor with the Winnipeg Jets, because the Jets had played absolutely horribly leading up to that playoff series. And fans always take losing amazingly well, and I'm doing the most sarcastic thing possible. Like, they're very rational when their team loses. So Ethan Bear is an Indigenous Canadian. He is from Saskatchewan. I believe it's Cree is his Indigenous tribe. I'm trying to the word that I'm trying to come up with is failing miserably. But he got an absolute ton of hate mail, probably death threats, because we all know the internet just seems to love saying that I'm going to kill you and your family, because that's a thing apparently that we like doing. This was news to me. I missed the meeting, I guess. He got an absolute flurry of racist hate mail. And then sometimes it's not even racist. It's literally just like people getting mad at certain players. Like, if you listen to the radio and somebody says, oh man, Ethan Bear he played a horrible game in this game. Like, if you hear that, some fans will go, oh my God, like that's the person I'm choosing. I'm sure McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Mike Smith, the goaltender, Darnell Nurse is, I believe, is black, so that probably happened too. All these guys probably got hate mail. Ethan Bear is the one that kind of stood out because it sounds like it was the worst. And obviously, because here in Canada, we have a really, really horrible history still to this day about how we treat Indigenous people here in the country. It really stood out. And this isn't even a race problem, but it's still pretty bad that this many people decided that they really need to take a go at the guy because of his skin color specifically. But this isn't unfamiliar to white players as well. Because some of the dumb shit I've seen, like as a Leafs fan, in 2013, the Leafs infamously blew a 4-1 lead with less than 10 minutes on the clock in the third period. They should have won the game. Like in all metrics, there's no way they should have given up that lead. But they did, lost in overtime, and that was the end of the series because that was Game 7. That was the final and deciding game. And after that game, the goaltender for the Toronto Maple Leafs, James Reimer, but most specifically, his wife, got a fuck ton of hate mail. People went out and sought his wife's Instagram or whatever social media presence they could find to message that woman that we're going to kill you and your husband because of what he didn't do, I guess you could say. And that's the kind of shit that I can't understand. I could never understand that logic. I hate a lot of things. Not as much as apparently a lot of people, but I can hate a lot of things. I could never imagine... Oh, excuse me. Oh, sneeze attack's coming. Oh, shit. No, is it a false alarm? I guess it's a false alarm. We'll see. I could never fathom getting to a point where I would be so angry at something that I'd send death threats to them on social media. Let alone, like, probably some of the more extreme things that were being done. Like, when you see back in the day, it doesn't happen nearly as much. I think it still happens once in a blue moon, but we're not seeing, like, infinite articles about it. When streamers were getting swatted all the time, I could never imagine wanting to do something like that. There is nothing you could do to me that would make me call in a fake, like, hostage situation to the cops so they come in guns blazing into your house. You would... In order to make me do that, you would literally have to, like, drive me to the point of, like, I can't control my mind anymore. And I don't even know what that would look like. And when it comes to all these sports fans who decide that because their team lost, they have to take it out. Like, I got mad at certain players last night because they blew another game, and that's why we're leading into Monday, where I'm not going to be here on stream because of one more game. But I said, like, these guys need to step it the fuck up. These guys need to stop acting like they don't care to be there. Oh, like, stuff like that. I never go, somebody needs to kick the shit out of him. Somebody needs to fucking murder him and his family. Like, I've never... Why would I get to that point? It's more like, hey, kid, wake the... And I can say kid because most of them are younger than me. Hey, kid, wake the fuck up. You're getting paid millions of dollars while I'm sitting here making fucking nothing. And all you're doing is playing a game. Now, granted, you play that game better than, like, 99.9% of the people on this fucking planet, but you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a game. Go out there and act like you give a shit. That's my anger. That is my anger as a sports fan. But these fucking morons go out and send death threats and endlessly harass the people that they apparently cheer for. Remember that. These people are supposed to be cheering for that team. The people who gave Ethan Bear all that racist shit. The people that went after James Reimer's wife, April, because because the Leafs lost a game. These are supposed to be fans that love this team. And think about what they're doing. This is why I don't like sports fans. It's because they're fucking irrational as shit and they're children. I've watched so many people in bars say the stupidest shit over a fucking sports match. I have watched so many ridiculous fights in crowds. I have watched so many horrible tweets and videos and stuff of people doing the most insane stuff, like burning LeBron James's jersey because he left the team. You pay good money for that jersey and you're burning it. Like, sell it to somebody. Make some fucking money back, you dumb fuck. Instead of burning it. What do you think? Like, anybody who was burning Nike sneakers as well, like, all that's... I don't understand that. You spent money on it and you're burning it. Like, you just threw money down the drain. That's so stupid, and it's so irrationally dumb to be doing that. So all this stuff with sports people, it's like, do you not think before you do it? I know the answer to that question. That's a rhetorical question. But do you not think before you fucking open your stupid fucking mouth? I guess the answer is no. No, you don't. And it's a joke to me. Because you guys are making an unbelievable, like, mockery of the fans that are actually loving the things that they do. Or loving the teams that they watch, that want to see them succeed. But instead, people like you are the ones that stand out. Because that's what every fan base thinks of other teams as fan bases. If you're a Bruins fan, you look at Leafs fans and you only think about the dumb fucks who think that the fourth line center on their team is the greatest player ever done. That get so upset because a Bruin player didn't get a penalty called on them one time. Now the same goes for the other way around. Leafs hate Bruins fans for the exact same shit. And it's like, dude, I will say this 1,000 times. I genuinely do not hate fans of a team, and I don't hate a team. There are specific people that I think need to wake the fuck up and realize that they're acting like a petulant child when they're watching a game. Because I get emotional too. Like last night I was watching that Game 6 between Toronto and Montreal, and I got really upset of certain things. Because again, like, I expect my team to actually be good when they're actually playing well. And then when they play like shit, I'm sitting there being like, fuck, like, you get angry. But I don't then go on Twitter and go, I need to harass endlessly Montreal Canadiens fans because they're fucking stupid. Or I need to send Mitch Marner or Austin Matthews of the Toronto Maple Leafs fucking death threats because they couldn't win a fucking hockey game. I don't do that because it's fucking immature and stupid. But these people do. And then the last thing are just like little things, right? There are a lot of sports fans who think they're like the most hardcore fans. The reality is they just watch the games and that's all they do. They know absolutely nothing when it comes to outside of their market. Like I've seen people be like, "Oh, why the fuck is this guy winning?" Like when the awards come in. By the way, arbitrary awards, which is amazing. They're like, "Oh, how is this guy the best player? Like he plays for a shit team. Like who can?" Like it's not even like them looking at stats and being like, "Well, you know, this guy actually had 7 more points and he played on a lesser team. He didn't have as much to work with and whatever else." No, it's literally just like, that guy plays for that team. I don't fucking like him. Like, it's the same with the irrational hatred of certain teams. Like, there are people out there that hate, like, for example, the Los Angeles Kings. And if I asked them to name a player on the Los Angeles Kings, they'd probably name somebody that doesn't exist on the team anymore. Like if... Excuse me, I'm going to wipe my nose because that sneeze is finally starting to catch up with me. I was afraid this was going to happen, but mind you, I've actually gone, like 40 minutes before this, so I guess I shouldn't complain that much. But like, for example, if I ask a lot of people to name somebody on the LA Kings, they might name Anze Kopitar first. Actually, I should really check that. Is he actually still on the Kings, or is he fucking elsewhere? Because he went back and forth. Oh, I think he's actually back there. Never mind. I'm an idiot. But, like, there are some people that, like, I've seen hate certain teams, and then when you ask them to name, like, a couple of players on the team, they don't know anybody. It's just that it's the irrational hatred of, just because a team beat them one time, all of a sudden they hate everybody there, even though they can't name them. They think they're all shit. They're all overrated or whatever else, like all that stuff. And it's just like, what the fuck? And the other thing is that when it comes to their own team, for example, people will not watch a game because we can't. It's 82 games for hockey, for example, 162 in baseball. Imagine that. Imagine watching in full 162 games. But like, people will not watch a game, find out, like, because I'll go with the Leafs because it's the easiest. People will not watch a Leafs game and see that they lost 4-2, and they'll be like, the fuck, they played like shit. And then I'll come in and be like, well, actually, if you watch the game, the Leafs actually outplayed the team they were playing. The problem is just the goaltender was so good, or there was like a weird bounce. Maybe there was like a couple of just crazy deflections that went in the net for against Toronto. Maybe some really weird penalties got called. Something got fucked up. Like maybe a bunch of guys are really injured. Like a core of their team is completely gone. Like there's all these things, but all people see is that 4-2. That's all they see. They just see the score, and that's it. Maybe at best, they look at the shots. Like for hockey, for example, they'll look at the shots and go, "Oh, the Leafs were outshot 35-31, and they lost in overtime. That's pathetic. They must have gotten outplayed." Where it's like, actually, sorry, 35-31 isn't that much of a discrepancy. There are games where like you can lose in like say overtime, or let's even say like actually, yeah, overtime is the best example. So let's say they lose a game in overtime. Score doesn't even matter. And the shots at the end of the game for Toronto is they had, say, 28 and the other team had 41. And people will look at that and be like, oh, they got outplayed the whole game and they must have gotten lucky to get in overtime. When the reality is that in that game, they probably were winning the entire... Actually, sorry, I say probably. Like, this is an example that I get to dictate. They were winning the game the entire time, and they were outplaying in the first two periods. But in the third period, they're up, let's say it's 2-0. And the team that's trailing will suddenly play really hard because they need to get back in the game. Whereas Toronto will focus more on defense because they don't need to be going crazy on the offense anymore. I'm going to just skip these guys. Hopefully they don't attack me too hard. They'll mostly be playing defense because, again, they're not trying to score anymore because all they got to do is defend this lead for 20 more minutes. So it's not a crazy ask at that point. Go away, stop following me. Are they still actually following me? One of them still, there we go. So, the Leafs will stop shooting for the most part because they're too busy trying to just hold the lead together. And fans will see the shots by the end of the game if they lose in overtime and think they must have like barely survived and got in the overtime. No, what usually happens is that in the third period, they're playing just heavy defense and the other team is just throwing shots all over the place because they just need to score. So that happens a lot. And people seem to kind of forget that. So it's just that misreading of stats. You know, they spend so much time thinking that they're the biggest fans in the world, but they don't really read too much into stuff. Like, every time the Leafs this season had a really bad loss. Now, I'm not saying this is an amazing, like, metric and this is, like, the gospel. But I always go to a site called moneypuck.com because what they'll do is they'll take all the analytics, all the stats from that have accumulated through that game, especially things like score effects, possession numbers, like, all these things, and look at that, especially, like, how often, like, a shot goes in. Because, like, for example, in baseball, there is a batting average against balls in play kind of thing, where a certain kind of hit, depending on its velocity, its what's the word I'm looking for? It's whatever its direction is, like its height, or like how it's high it's hit, like where in the field it's hit, and there will be like a balls on or batting average of balls in play for that hit. So like if that average is around 250, it means there's like a 1 in 4 chance that that ball gets you on base, or if like a home run a home run is always going to be a straight up 1.0. But like if it's a 250 average, 1 in 4 shot that it's going to land. Now if it's a 750 average, that means there's a 3 in 4 shot that hit's going to get you on base. The same will happen in hockey, where they'll take all these stats and they'll kind of take that and okay, what's the likelihood of all these things combined giving you a victory in this game? And what they'll do is they'll take all those stats and they'll run it in a simulator 1,000 times to dictate you know, a decent, it's like the Deadliest Warrior thing where they took all their metrics and then put it in a simulation X amount of times so that it wasn't just like a lucky strike just wins the one game. And I'll take the results that MoneyPug gives me to see like, okay, how well did the Leafs actually play in that game? Because I've seen losses where it looks bad, like they lose like 3-0. And you'll look at the simulation that MoneyPuck does, and you'll actually see the Leafs had a 70% chance of winning that game. Just the problem was the goaltending was so incredible in that game, and maybe the Leafs goaltending wasn't that good in that game. So like on a normal night where the average was happening for goaltenders, like if every shot had a certain chance of going in and they were actually at the average that they normally were instead of either going in or not, the Leafs would have won the game more often than they would have lost. It's not to say that there's no way they would have lost the game, but more often they would have. So that's usually the metric that I look at it. But like I just see people that just see them losing and think they must have played like shit, you know? And it's just that kind of stuff that just drives me insane. So to cap all of this off, because we've almost gone an hour on this, because like I said, I figured I was going to get pretty intense about it. I really just despise sports fans because they don't use their brain for more than 2 seconds when they talk. And this is coming from a sports fan, but it's a very certain subsect that are unbelievably irrational, especially the ones that take that extra extreme and do like the death threats and things like that, and the downright hatred for people over a fucking game. I do not like the Boston Bruins, the team, but I don't hate, like, say, Patrice Bergeron on the team. I don't hate David Pastrnak. I don't even really hate the fans, except for the few that decide that they need to go in my face, even when we're not even facing them, and being like, oh, your team did so well last night. Because, like, if you can bring me up a team that never loses a game, then we can talk. But our teams will always play bad in a game. Our team will always lose at some point. And when I watch fans, because this is very specific to me too, right? When I watch fans that get so upset with my team, even though, like they say, my team hasn't won in 50 years, my team hasn't even won a playoff round in almost 20. It really drives me crazy that a team, or that a core of fans are living so rent-free in their heads of my team that literally doesn't do anything, you know? And it drives me nuts because I already hate my team as it is because it's been 17 years and if they lose tomorrow night, I might actually be done because like why support a team that doesn't seem to be interested in playing? But beyond that, it's just like holy shit, it's a game. Just chill. And I'm not talking like just chill as don't get mad, you know, during the game when your team's like not performing the way you want them to. It's don't fucking hate shit over that. Don't go death threatening people. Don't go hating certain people just because of what they are. Like, come on, man. Oh, wait, I can actually airship now, I think. Maybe. I'm gonna check, just for the sake of my own curiosity. I might be going the wrong way. Can't tell. No, I think I'm going the right way. Can I actually go to the place now? Are they gonna let me now? Oh, damn it. No, I'm still not there yet. I thought there was like a scene that made me think that I might have had it, but no. But man, like, if you're a sports fan, like, yeah, enjoy the team that you love, get emotional about it, but once the game's over, don't fucking take to social media and take it out on people that have nothing to do with it. Stop being so fucking immature. Now, unfortunately, I'm not done with immaturity, but I am going to take a second to drink some fucking water, because I'm probably going to go off for another at least half an hour on this next subject, because this is also dumb. I didn't even see which direction to go, and I hope I picked the right one. Before I start, I guess I'll make sure. Am I going the right way? I am. Good. Okay. Alright. So, Sony did a investors call. And in their little conference, they had like this PowerPoint presentation. There's something I'm going to talk about later with them showing that Uncharted 4 looks like it's going to come out for PC, although they haven't officially announced it yet, but we'll get to that later. But there was one thing that seems to have gotten a lot of people in the gaming community up in arms, and it created a discourse that honestly doesn't need to be here and honestly shouldn't even exist in the first place. So let me actually pull up the image before I do anything here. So let me find it. I had it set up. There we go. So if I pull this up, it should show nicely. I don't know how well you guys can see it. So you know what? For a second, I will switch to browser so you guys can see it a little bit better. So, oh no, that's the wrong one. Never mind. Ignore that. I thought I had this thing up. Now I feel stupid because I should have done this. I don't think I did. No, you know what? I don't have it set up anywhere. Never mind. Ignore all of that. Ignore all of that. But now listen to this part. So in their PowerPoint presentation, they mentioned a statistic that a lot of people seem to be annoyed at for some reason, and I don't understand why, but, you know, I guess we'll get to that. So apparently, back in the original PlayStation days, they figured that around 18% of all people who owned the original PlayStation were female. And now, in the combination of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 as we stand at this point in time, their estimates say that around 41% of people who own a console are female. That sounds like an amazing stat. That sounds like what we want. We want everybody and anybody playing video games. We want this entire community to be as open and diverse as possible so that everybody feels welcome. It doesn't become that outcast community that it once was where, like when I was a kid, you know, not everybody played games and you were kind of a nerd and you got bullied for that. Now, it's not a thing anymore because everybody plays video games in some aspect. I know I'm still personally on the fence with people that play like the very, very like almost nothing gameplay kind of mobile games like your Candy Crushes and stuff, that I'm still weirded when we put them in the gamer category. I'm still honestly a little bit weirded out about that. But it's not like to the point of like it lives rent-free in my head and I get very annoyed every time somebody talks about them like that. Now, when it comes to people of color, when it comes to women, all that, I have no care. I'm happy for everybody. You know, I want as many people in my hobby as possible. That's what I want. And unfortunately, when this specific statistic came out, a lot of people lost their shit about it. Which is weird because why would that affect you? Like that's going to be the first question. If anybody watches this video, because I'm probably going to clip this and also put it up on YouTube. That's youtube.com/csradical. I'm going to ask this question flat out. Anybody who got even like perturbed, I'm not even saying upset, like even just like raised their eyebrow at that stat. Why? Because what does that stat do to you? It doesn't change anything. Because we've gone from 18% to 41%. Let's say the statistic is 100% accurate, because we don't know. Because I don't even know where they get the number from. Because that was a question too. People are like, well, where did they get to that number? I mean, first off, the question doesn't really matter. But if I really had to guess, like the one thing I figure is that when you boot up a profile on there on your console, and it's like the main profile on that console, usually they'll ask the questions like, oh, what's your gender? Like, where are you born? Like that kind of stuff. Like your region, all that kind of thing. I wonder if that's like what's a big part of it. If it's just, you know, them going, okay, well, like where are you located? Like, oh, what gender is you? Like, what gender are you listed? And all that stuff in their profile. And maybe just a lot of female profiles are getting created as of late. I can't really figure out where the stats coming from. But again, I don't particularly care because I don't think it matters. Because it's just a statistic. It's not saying that women are better at gaming. It's not saying anything. It's just saying that women are playing games. To which I go, even if they said 80% of all PS4 and PS5 owners are women, my question would still be, why does it matter to men? Because it shouldn't. Because, like, you know, I'm a wrestling fan, and I look at the statistics of AEW whenever the ratings come in, and I see usually on average a rating of 0.4, I think, for like 18 to 34 males, and then 0.1 or 0.2 for women, and I go, is it accurate? How are that many women watching wrestling? Like, I don't care. I want as many people watching the product, just the same as I want as many people playing games as possible. So why would I care about about who's playing, about who's watching? Like, why does it matter? So when people hyper fixate on that, Like, I'm like, dude, what's the problem here? So then we change it up to, like I said, the question is still to be asked. If this stat is 100% accurate, what does 41% of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 owners being female affect you? How does that affect you? Explain that to me. What does that statistic affect you personally? Like, what does it do to get you up in arms? Because I would argue that it doesn't. And if it does, you might want to ask yourself what's going on. Because it shouldn't do anything to you. I'm really annoyed that there's so many story quests going on. I want to get it going here, but it's taking forever. I keep forgetting how long it is. Oh god, I'm failing this. There we go. I don't see what you guys are so freaked out about, you know? Like, aren't we the same community that when we grew up wished that more women were playing because we didn't have a lot of confidence, we didn't, you know, we had trouble speaking to, like, the average girl when we were fucking, like, growing up, all that shit. So, wouldn't you want more women to be in the hobby because then it's easier to connect because you'll have more to talk about? Because you'll be able to be like, oh, you play that game too? Oh, what do you think about that? Oh, my favorite character is this. You can do that. If almost half of all PS4 and PS5 owners are women, that's a significant chance for you to connect with a lot of people that you normally wouldn't be able to. But instead, we're choosing to be upset to the point of like, look, I'm going to flat out say it. You guys are fucking weak as shit if you're so worried about that in the first place. Like, how fucking pathetic do you have to be to feel, I guess, threatened by the fact that there's a lot of women playing games now? Like, I'll go back in time to where I used to be a miserable piece of shit, and I used to get upset at the feminist community saying all these things about games. And there's still some things that were said back then that I think I'd still be like, yeah, no, I'm still not happy about that. But, like, along with a lot of people in, like, the anti-SJW community that I used to be a part of, they used to believe flat out that, like, women were going to take over games and ruin it for men. Like, that level. To which, now that I'm, you know, fucking a little more clear of mind and actually, you know, using my fucking brain, I go, well, that doesn't make any sense. Because it's been X amount of time since I thought that. And nothing's changed. In fact, it feels like it's gotten better. Because we're getting even more different kinds of games. There's so much you can do. Like, whenever people get mad right now, for example, because there's not a lot coming out, it's like, dude, like, there's so much coming out. It's just you're not looking hard. You're not paying attention to everything else that's going on in the industry. You're paying attention to just the tippest of the top of AAA games. When in reality, like, you look at, like, the indie scene, and there are so many incredible experiences out there now. And it's the best it's ever been. Like, whenever during this pandemic, I've seen people being like, oh, there's nothing to play. It's like, dude, go out of your comfort zone and find shit. And here we stand now with the apparent threat of women being a possible, like, thing more consistently in games. And I'm going, okay. So it's just video games. Uh-oh, something wants to touch me. Yep. Where are you? There you are. Like, it makes no sense to me, you know? Why wouldn't you want as many people playing? Like, it's really strange. Why are you running away? Get the fuck back here. I hate this invulnerable thing. That's a side note here. But, like, it's so hypocritical because you guys would wish forever that all these hot girls were playing. And then the second hot girl started showing up, you're like, oh, they're all fake. It's like, what the fuck do you want then? It's just that thing of, like, you want everything the exact way that you want it. You know, I've said this before so many different times on either my podcast or on separate videos, but, like, we used to live in an age where it's like, why don't you like this? Now it's become why don't you like this the way that I like it? And with women now, I guess it's like, well, I want more women to be playing video games, and then when it happens, they're like, well, actually, I only want women that like the certain kinds of games that I like, because otherwise they're gonna change the industry into something I don't want. What? It's just so ludicrously stupid. I don't know what to do about that. Because it's so dumb. It's such a waste of energy from these people who seem to think that they're the only people that matter in a certain community. Because, like, I've never been affected by a woman playing a game. Like, I've never gone like, oh my god, like, this is taking away from me because now they're making a game for women. Like, I remember when Final Fantasy X-2 came out. And people hate that game because they think, oh, it's a fucking girly game. I believe that the creator of that specific story, like, and even admitted, like, we were just trying to make something that would maybe appeal to girls a little bit more. But in actuality, like, it's still a really, really obviously, like, designed for men. Because, like, the main character wears hot pants, and the second main character wears a bikini. Yeah, I know, women are always asking for bikini girls and hot pants girls, you know? Oh, and not cool with the with 1 bit. Oh, all right. I'm gonna be buying all the gumballs with that. Oh man, but thank you so much for that. Just for the sake of that, I will hydrate for you. In honor of that single bit, I will give you that. Otherwise, back to what I was like. I've seen so many people give like Final Fantasy X-2 shit because they thought it was girly. And it's embarrassing. Because it's just that idea that because it's not made specifically in the exact manner that you want, it must suck. Because I enjoy X-2 a lot. In general, it's like I said, it's just a bunch of really, really pathetic. Oh, 100 bics now. Oh, shit, not cool. Oh, man. Well, I guess we've broken the first person to donate. Damn, thank you so much for that, dude. I don't even know what to say to that. I guess I'm double hydrating. God damn, bro. It's like first followers that I got on the stream, now I'm getting like first bit cheers. Man. I keep making the joke that, like, I don't have a goal in mind when I stream. I think, if I can ever get enough money from streaming that I can buy a video game at full price, I think that's the point where I'm like, I think I can retire because I'm good at that point. Like, the most money I've ever made in 1 month doing any sort of content creation, I made $4 in a month on YouTube once. That's the best I've ever done. And you bet your ass I was proud of that $4. You bet your ass that I was telling everybody I made $4 off of YouTube. Because that's so cool. I've seen so many people who start streaming, for example. I'm going way off the line, although I don't really have much else to say on the women and games thing. I thought it was going to take me longer, but I pretty much got most of my points out. But, like, I've seen so many people in the streaming community, like, get so mad because they're not making any progress. Because I think they expect they're going to be Ninja in, like, 2 months. And make, like, thousands and thousands of dollars. I'm sitting here being like, dude, if I can come on this stream every time I stream and have, like, 10 people in the chat who are talking and I can just shoot the shit with people, like, I'm good. I'm happy. Like, that's everything I could want. If I happen to become, like, marginally famous, and by marginally I mean, like, I don't know, like, Defiance Gaming, who is the guy who first rated me, he was spamming emotes in my chat at the start of the stream. I don't know if he's still here. He might actually still be here. Like, if I get to his level, because I hopped on and lurked his stream a little bit before I started today, and he was at around, like, 65, I think, was the number I saw. If I get to that point, dude, that's like, I might cry if I get to that point, because I don't expect to get that far. Now, if I keep working hard enough, I keep doing this and connecting and doing some other stuff, like there's a whole bunch of ways that I could do it. And it'd be pretty cool if I did. But if I don't, it's not going to completely be like affecting me to the point that I don't ever want to stream again. I did this knowing that there was a very good chance that no one ever watches me. I knew that going in. And there are days where I've thought about stopping altogether, but that's mostly just been because of like overall depression, not because of like my progress here as a streamer. Just, I'm in a really shit time in my life, so. But I mean, otherwise, like, I started streaming just for the fun of it, because my brain went, hey, I play a lot of video games all the time when I have off time at home. Maybe I can do something with that and like stream, and who knows what can come out of it. And here I am, an affiliate already, which I had no idea was going to happen that quick. And I do have to thank Defiance a lot because of that, because I think that community really helped with it. But I mean, in the end, like, you know, you still got to put the effort in, you still got to put the time in and go for it. And I did. And I feel like I'm coming out with like some decent content. Like, I don't leave a stream and go, man, that was the fucking steaming shits most of the time. Some of them I'm like, I probably just screwed myself of a couple of viewers. But either way, it's all because I'm just enjoying myself. I'm just trying to have some fun. If I never get popular, oh well. I'll just keep going back to my shitty ass job, I guess. But if I happen to get any sort of notoriety here, that would be amazing. Any sort. Whether that's through my podcasts, whether that's through my streams, whether that's through something else that I haven't even thought about yet that I end up doing. I don't care what it is. If I happen to make it somewhere, I'll take it. It's just something to do, honestly, for the most part. I'm just bored as shit. That's really what it is. I'm bored as shit and I'm trying to find stuff to do. The only downside now is that there are games right now that I'm playing. Like, I really love playing Final Fantasy XIV right now, and I really want to play Mass Effect. But I only play them on stream because I want people to have visual, like, I want to have an archive of every moment of that game, because who knows, there might be something that I play in Mass Effect if I played it off stream that people would have really loved to see my reaction to, you know? So there are some games that I really want to play, but I only play when I stream. But I don't stream all the time, because like I said, I think I was starting to say it and then I must have gotten off track. So here's how my days work. I can only go Sunday and Monday right now. And Monday's not gonna, I think because of the sports thing, that's probably what threw me off, because Monday's not gonna happen tomorrow. But Tuesday, I record a second podcast called the PixelPlay Podcast, which has its own separate YouTube channel. We don't have a unique link right now because we're not big enough to get it. But you can look up PixelPlay Podcast on YouTube and you'll find it. It's also on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that shit. If you search it up, you should find it. It's me and my co-host Kaylin, and we take like a journalistic approach, whereas my VCR podcast, as Not Cool says in the chat there, is mostly like me and two of my best friends, like we're chatting at the bar. So it's two different things. So Tuesday night, I record that podcast. Wednesday, I'm here on stream doing the VCR podcast. Thursday night, usually with the same guys, for Wednesday night, we're playing video games. Right now, I would love to stream those, but we get pretty personal still on these because A, pandemic, B, a couple of us are having some pretty shitty times right now, myself included, and we usually will talk to each other like it's just shooting the shit. So we end up saying things about like really personal stuff, like things going on at home or things like with our friends of ours that, I'll be honest, none of you guys are going to give a shit about. So it's that difficult thing where it's like, I want to stream some of the stuff we do because there's some pretty funny things that happen when we play, but at the same time, like, it's so personal that I think it's not right to put up there. That's kind of in my opinion. And then Friday and Saturday, usually I devote to my girlfriend because Lord knows she deserves that for the amount of time I don't spend with her. So usually that just means I have Sunday and Mondays. That's all I get. Not cool. I would love to see those games. If you go to my YouTube channel, there are a couple of VCR plays when we first started. I think Left 4 Dead is the only ones. I'm going to quickly double check the channel. And I'll even throw one of the links in the chat once I get there. But we have done a couple of them. It's just after a while, they started getting a a little bit more personal, and I started feeling uncomfortable putting them up. So I've stayed away from some of them. There's actually a couple of Left 4 Dead ones we never posted because right around the same time that we were playing those games was the George Floyd thing. And we recorded these pre-George Floyd. And what happened after is that, or sorry, what happened before is that I would make the joke when I got the nightstick melee weapon in Left 4 Dead 2, that I would yell, "You will respect my authority," making the South Park joke, like, "You will respect my authority!" And I felt really uncomfortable putting that out when the George Floyd stuff was going on. So there's a few of those that just never came out. And we've played a bunch of stuff since, but, you know, it's a lot of it's gotten so personal that I don't feel comfortable putting them up. And I stopped recording because I'm like, man, I don't want to spend all this time, like, maybe editing stuff only for it to not go anywhere. Let me see. What's the... You know what? I'll put one link in the chat because it's the one where I fucking lost my shit. I'll put that one in. I think that's a good example of, like, how crazy some of these are. So I'll put that one in there for anybody who feels like watching something if you're in the chat, whether you're lurking or not. But, that's probably my favorite one because that's me legitimately getting absolutely furious because the level that we played was so hard and impossible. But yeah, I literally only have Sundays and Mondays at best to play, unless I like wanted to jump on for like an hour, and I'm not sure if I want to do that because the way that I always am, as soon as I get started on something, I want to keep going. That's kind of how I work. So like, I might not get to Mass Effect today, depending on how long this goes, because I still have a bunch of things to talk about. Although I'll probably do half and half. I think at the rate that I'm going now, I'll probably finish. It's 1:30 now. I'll probably finish most of the other topics in another hour. And then at that point, I'll jump on Mass Effect and we'll do that for about 2.5 hours or so until I feel like I need dinner, and then that'll be it for the day. I would have streamed tonight too. I thought about it because I was originally going to do, okay, maybe I'll do a big Mass Effect stream this afternoon because I normally stream at noon on Sundays, Eastern time, because like the community that I'm part of, the Defiance community, a lot of them are in Europe because I wanted to make a day that they could hang out in. Now... okay, what's actually going on here? Oh, I'm just speaking with somebody. I just happened to walk into a Fate at the same time. I hope that monster... I really hope that monster doesn't attack me, because I really need to talk to this person. Please don't target me. Please don't target me. You're targeting... You son of a bitch. Alright. Fine. You want to go? Let's go. I'm going to lose this fight usually, because these are hard to do on your own. Because these enemies have a lot of health. Yeah, look at this. I'm barely doing anything to it. I might have to run on this until this thing's gone. How much time is left in it? 2 minutes? That's not terrible. Well, we'll see how long I last. This is gonna be bad. Where are all the peoples? I need help. Yeah, as a side note, I don't like these Fates because you require like a lot of people to get through it. It's way too hard to do solo. I'm literally just like messing around at this point. Dun, 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 dun. Come on, these guys are too accurate, although I'm running and like shooting like I'm a fucking amazing sharpshooter here, so I guess I shouldn't be complaining. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to get remotely close to killing this thing unless like a bunch of people showed up. Yep, screw it, we're running. I'm not wasting my time with this anymore. Bye-bye! Woo! Flee! Escape! But yeah, like, I'd love to play more, but like, as soon... Oh, also, I think I was going to say why I'm not here on Sunday. I'm going to be watching a wrestling pay-per-view tonight, so I definitely can't stream tonight. Which, anybody who even is remotely curious about wrestling, you need to check out All Elite Wrestling. They're going to be on, I think Fight TV is where you can usually watch them. They always put on amazingly fun shows. And I honestly don't know if I'd still be watching wrestling if these guys weren't around right now. Because, like, WWE has basically killed any love for wrestling that I had, and AEW just picked up the piece and said, "We got you, fam." But yeah, like, okay, I'm getting out of the Fate Zone because I hate that fucking music. Alright, now we're good. I'm generally the kind of person that once I get really into something, I don't stop until I, like, have to force myself to stop. So I don't think I could get on stream and go for only an hour and then realize I have to stop because I'm recording a show. I don't think I could do it. It would drive me crazy because it'd be like, but I'm having so much fun doing this. So yeah, I'm probably not going to find other days. I'm gonna try really hard to do it, but there is also that thing too of like, I gotta be careful about how I use my time. I don't want to turn into that guy that devotes his entire life to streaming and burns himself out. That was the other thing too. Oh, I actually cried in WrestleMania 30 when Undertaker lost to me when he was leaving the ring. I legit, like, I was like everybody else in the crowd. I didn't say a thing. Like, it was silence. I wish that I was with people. Like, that was WrestleMania I ended up not watching live with people, which was really disappointing. But, like, I remember watching that and just, like I was that black guy that infamously had like his eyes popping out of his head and was just like that was kind of me. Like, not straight that pose, but like I was definitely like that. And then Daniel Bryan won the title and I was okay again. But it was an interesting journey to say the least. And AEW has been pretty awesome for that. But yeah, I've really struggled to play I try to do at least like 4 nights of streaming, and I realized really quickly that it was going to become like work. I used to do a blog way back. I don't even know if the page is probably still up, but I don't think even my videos are posting to it automatically anymore. It should be csradical@wordpress.com. It used to be csradical.com. I had the domain, and then I realized, wow, I'm spending money a year to keep a domain that literally is just putting my YouTube videos up there. That's stupid. Well, I should just have my YouTube as that source. So I stopped. But I used to blog on there a bunch, and back in the day, I mostly did it because I was working a job where nothing happened, so I was on a computer all the time, so I would write stuff. It was just something to keep me busy. And I got to a point where I actually was releasing something every day. And it got to a point where the things I was doing were just becoming so frustrating that I didn't want to do it anymore. And it felt like work. And as it is with anything, if I ever feel like something is becoming work, I have to stop. It is so irresponsible to do something where you feel like it's work. If it's supposed to be a hobby and it suddenly turns into work, you're not doing it right. You need to stop, or you need to slow down. And that's kind of where I did with streaming. I was trying to do a lot really early, and then I realized that I was putting way too much time into it, and I stopped. I took a break, and I kind of reduced my days. Now I'm only doing the 2 gaming days, Sunday and Monday, unless obviously a hockey team can't close out a series like they are right now. That's why I'm not here tomorrow. Or I also do the podcast on Wednesday, which helps. I do keep myself busy still. Like, I have 2 podcasts and I have 2 game stream nights. You know, on a normal week, if everything goes fine, I'm recording on Tuesday. Oh, sorry. Starting from Sunday, I guess, because Sunday's technically the beginning of the week. So I'm streaming Sunday for anywhere between 3 to 6 hours, depending on how my stomach feels. Monday nights, I'm streaming usually anywhere from 6 to 7 o'clock onwards until I feel like going to bed. Tuesday, I'm podcasting, quickly editing that and putting up the show and clips over the course of the week. Wednesday, I used to be doing a pre-stream. I think I might stop those because I think it's just better to kind of chill out and then get ready for that. But like, I still record a podcast on Wednesdays, and I still got to make sure I put that thing up. And then Thursday is like a fun day where I'm just like playing games with my buddies. And Friday and Saturday, I'm hanging out with my girlfriend, and that's like the most relaxing I'm getting. So I got to be careful not to overdo it. And in the process of that, you know, I did burn myself out on YouTube several times back in the day because I tried to do too much. So there's always that part, right? And I've got to make sure that I'm taking care of myself mentally and physically, because I don't want to turn into a guy who literally doesn't want to do anything anymore because he burnt himself out. I got to be very careful to do that. So, let's see here. I'm actually going to stick to the side for a second here because I really need to go to the bathroom now. So I will be back shortly. I'm going to put up the break screen, and I will be back whenever that comes into play because I was not prepared to need to take a bathroom break at this early, but I guess I can't be in full control of my body. I guess the vaccine didn't do that for me. I thought it was going to help. I thought the 5G was going to help me have better connection with my own body. Such a shame. But anyways, I will be back in maybe 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how long this takes. But we'll see how it goes. I'm timing a bathroom break. God damn it. I'll be back soon. Let's go with that. See you in a bit. Alright, I thought I hit the right button to turn my mic back on, but apparently I did not. But we're still back. Alright. Let's get this going again. Okay, so. this point now, we're going to move on to the next topic now that I finally have my stuff together here again. So, first thing I want to go over is Horizon. The trailer was, or not the trailer, well, I guess it was a trailer, but it was more like a long gameplay reveal. Holy crap, this game looks amazing. Holy crap. This game looks so sick. I'm so excited for this game. I went into the first Horizon game actually like really nervous about it. Cause like I've had a history when it comes to these games where like, oh hi giant ass fucking toad. I've played like enough games to know like things that look really cool in trailers don't always end up turning out the way that you think they will. So like when I saw Horizon, the only thing I thought was like, oh my god, this looks amazing. What are the chances it ends up being something I don't think it's gonna be? That was my worry. I'm like, man, there's such a chance of this just being like really underwhelming. And sure enough, I played the game, and my god, I couldn't play it. When I first played it, it was really, like, I don't want to say hard, but I played on the normal difficulty and felt like I wasn't able to do anything. Because, like, even the most basic enemies, I would take my time and shoot them really silently, and it would take, like, a quarter off their health, and I'd still have a bunch to do. And I got really frustrated by it, and I just kind of stopped. Even though, and it was really frustrating the most because I loved the game. Like, I love the world. And I love the, well, yeah, we're going to love it more in Horizon Forbidden West. They're not cool. We can now experience the underwater beauty. Abso-fucking-lutely we can. I loved, like, Aloy is now, quite honestly, my favorite female character of all time in a video game. Especially in terms of, like, main characters, 100%. She is the best female lead I think I've ever played in a video game. I love her. And the story is decent. Like, it's not amazing, but it's decent. The world is incredible. The aesthetic is insanely beautiful. So everything worked for it. And that's what made it so frustrating when I played it the first time and just couldn't get past the fact that, like, I felt like you had to do way too much planning to like, take out a single enemy. And eventually, I can't remember if they added it later or not, but there was a story mode difficulty, and I used that. And you're way too overpowered. But, like, not every game that I play on difficult points, right? Like, I rarely play a game on hard because I don't care. Like, I'm not trying to challenge myself to the point of frustration. And I'm not an achievement guy either, so playing games on hard just to finish them on hard really means nothing to me. But I played Horizon again on story mode. And yeah, I was easily beating shit, but I was having a blast. It is so much fun to just go around in that game and slide all over the place and just absolutely rinsing people with like perfectly placed arrow shots. I loved it. So I played that game in its entirety. I did everything I could. I never actually played the Frozen Wilds because I didn't want to end up spending a bunch of extra money. But I ended up basically like 100% of the game, at least as much as I could. I didn't platinum it, but I 100% of it, like, to my extent, like to the point that I finished every side thing I possibly could, unless the story didn't allow me to get in there yet. If the story was what was preventing me from doing something, then I didn't do it until I could. But literally, if there was something on the map, whether it was, like, any of those little side points that you can do, whether it was hunts, whether it was those challenges where you had to do something in a certain time, all the ruins you could explore, I did all of it long before the story because I just loved exploring that world so much. And the same will probably happen again because I'll just go around like just seeing what's there. And when we get to that point, it's going to be, I can't wait to do it again. And there was a small part of me that's like, man, I hope the trailer is able to do that. And able to not make me think that, oh man, maybe it's not going to be so good. And then I watched the trailer and the gameplay and went, no, it's basically the exact same thing that I already know and love. It just has underwater stuff. So, like, I'm so looking forward to that. And the fact that there's not going to be more recognizable sights, because like you're going to see things in San Francisco like the Golden Gate Bridge that's like completely like just rotted and like just completely covered in greenery. That it's going to look so much cooler that way too, with all the beach. Like the color is going to be even. The color in the original game is amazing, and it's about to be even better, which is insane, because you wouldn't think it could get much better than how it already did. And now with the underwater sections, it's going to get so much prettier. Oh my god, I'm going to play that game and be so depressed on what we're fucking up in nature because the Great Barrier Reef does not look like that anymore. Oh man, that's going to depress the hell out of me. But, yeah, no, everything about that game was so much fun, and I can't wait to do it twice. Absolutely can't wait to do it twice. And, like, when you see some of the enemies, like you can see on screen right now, like the fucking, the elephant guy and like the flying enemies and stuff. Oh man, that's gonna be so cool. Not cool as I just hope the DualSense controller integration with the haptics and all is awesome in Horizon. Well, I mean, from what I hear, Returnal did an incredible job of it, even better than Astrobot. So it sounds like first-party Sony studios are understanding pretty quickly on how to deal with it. And I mean, you know, if you're gonna be shooting arrows, they literally told all the time about how, oh, you're gonna feel it when you're like holding an arrow. Oh man, you know it's gonna be good. You know it's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah, I'm stuck on a door. When do I get my airship ticket? I want to go be a dashing rogue. I want to make stupid quips all the time. Some of these quests are always laughable. Like, it's the one thing about MMOs that, like, if you try to defend, it's like, guys, like, they're literally quests where it's just go talk to this person and then that's it. Ooh, we getting a cutscene again? Oh. I want a chocobo too. I really want a chocobo. But it's a while away until you get a chocobo. It sucks. But yeah, man, I'm so fucking stoked for it. Oh, hey, Joycey, how you doing? Nice to see you in the stream. I'm now going to proceed to spoil every possible thing I can think of in Trails of Cold Steel right now, just because now it's my stream and it doesn't matter. I still feel so bad about it, even though I know it wasn't the biggest deal, and you're okay with it now. But like, man, I felt so bad doing that, because I'm that guy that like that tries to stop spoilers all the time, and then I immediately made a joke that was totally spoiling something that I was totally like not even aware of where in the game it was. I'm just like, I'm so happy I'm gonna make a shitty joke about this one character. What are you gonna do though? We all know that Reen dies at the end of the game, and he force ghosts like Luke Skywalker, and he goes to Altina and says, "Hey, see you around, kid," and then fades off into the distance. And then Samuel L. Jackson appears as the actual god final boss in the game and goes, "All right, motherfucker, let's go." I might have mixed a few of the facts up. I'm not sure though. Maybe just a couple. I might have mixed a couple things up. I might be thinking of something else. Don't quote me on that, though. I've been doing it for a little bit, Joyzy, but at the same time, I'm not actually wanting to play as an archer anymore. I was trying Gridania for the first time, and I just really want to get to Limsa to play as a rogue, so I've stopped doing it. I'm trying to ignore as much stuff as possible so I can get out of this area. And I forgot how long it takes to actually get the airship tickets. I should have remembered from the last time I played because it wasn't even that long ago. But apparently my dumbass forgot. I'm actually thinking about maybe going to a controller, but I'm trying to see if I get used to mouse and keyboard first and see if that works. Because now that I've gone from the PS4 version to PC, and thanks for the follow too, Josie. Yeah, I kind of miss playing on the controller already. Because I feel like my movement's better, because trying to focus with the mouse, it's just not as easy as when you're using a fucking controller with the analog sticks. Oh my god, why won't these guys go away? I don't want to deal with you. Please stop. Oh, I'm almost dead. Oh crap. What's the... Okay, good. That's not enough. That's still not enough. Ah, I need to talk to the people. Help me. I'm trying to... Where's the map? Wait. Which way is it? Is this the right way? I'm lost. Help. Ah. Save me. Save me. Is that the door? Where? Why can't I see the thing I need? Stop! I'm also level 18. I shouldn't be this fucking bad. Ah. Now I'm panicking because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. All right, well I've got only one guy on me, so I think I can deal with him on my own. Yeah. Maybe I'll heal up. Please, die. Die! Fucking die! Okay. Alright. We're calm now. We're calm. We're totally calm. For now. Where on the map are you trying to get me to go, game? I'm not supposed to go there. Oh, is there another point that I missed? Ah, crap. I see you. Get the... Stop it. All right, leaving. Fuck this place. We're done. Oh, I forgot there's the part up here. I'm stupid. Thanks, she helped me not look like an idiot on stream for more than 5 minutes. Thank you. I forgot that there was an entire area back here. My brain just went, oh yeah, this is the dungeon area. I guess I'm doing one of the dungeons. I mean, I'm at the level that I would, so I wasn't thinking anything about it. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to be doing this thing now, I guess. Because my memory is so garbage, I can't remember what the quest order was. I've also never done Gridania as the starting zone, so I don't know any of the quest lines going in. If I was still in Ulda, I probably remember most of it. The Moogle stole it. Oh, that guy was trying to steal it. Well, even if the Moogle did steal it, I can't be mad at him. I should probably take the smaller guys out first. Yup. Alright, we're dealing with you now. I hate you. You heal things. I don't like you. Yeah, I forgot the Conjurer was there. I think every time I do this, I always just target like the big thing first, and then my brain goes, hey dumbass, you might want to take out the small stuff first so you limit the damage. And my brain goes, no, that's a stupid idea. Why are you using logic? Stop it. I will say, I do like having the easier commands when I'm playing with the PC, but I hate the camera control. That's the one thing I don't like. I know I don't have to move either, but I can't help it. I feel like I'm not playing the game right if I don't move around. It's like Final Fantasy 12. I still moved around even though it doesn't make a difference. Don't hurt the Moogle. Well, yeah, I'll definitely be moving out of those, but I'm not losing all his other attacks. Just like 12, it's like no matter, you can stand directly behind an enemy and all he does is headbutt in front of him, and it's still it will still hit you because apparently headbutts in Final Fantasy 12 are like the bullets in Wanted, they just curve. All right, but that's done now. We survived. Can I pat the... Why is there a no pet the Moogle mechanic? Also, I just realized the Horizon footage is still up. But hey, is that really a bad thing? I don't think so. But now it's gone. I'm not gonna lie, I look dumb as fuck with that helmet on. I don't like it. It's ruining my really good hair. Also, thanks for spawning me right with a bunch of dust mites, even though I could easily beat them if I wanted to. I guess I got a ways to go back now. This is where I really wish I had my Chocobo mount, but it's so later in the game I still haven't gotten close to it yet. Oh, hello lag. Or getting stuck on the map, it seemed. Whoop. I thought the guy was, Oh, is he actually? No, he's not back there. Where the hell is he? Oh, it's there. I guess I could teleport to Bent Branch, but I don't feel like wasting the gil for it. It's not that far away. Later, because this is my first free trial run, I played this on PlayStation, and I 100% wasted money constantly because I had so much money by the time I got to that point, to like level 30, that I'm like, I don't care. I'll just keep teleporting. It's fine. Here, though, I'm like, there's always the chance I might actually spend all my money early on something. Especially because I'm about to go back to a level 1 class as soon as I can get to Limsa. Okay, I'm gonna get this quest going again, and then I'll probably hop on the next topic. As always, anybody in the chat as well, if you do want to ask just like completely random questions, it's not necessarily just rants that I want to talk about. You guys can ask me anything. As long as it's something that's within reason and something that I can give you an answer to, I'll answer whatever the fuck you got for me. As long as it doesn't make me get in trouble on Twitch, and as long as it's something I have an answer to, I can answer whatever the hell. But anyways, let me pull up the picture I want, which is here. And I keep clicking the wrong screen to get back to my Streamlabs. There we go. Again, I'll go to browser for just a quick moment here. So for those who are also unaware of the investors call, there was a slide specifically in their thing that shows that Uncharted 4 looks like it's going to be out for PC. Which is pretty damn cool. I would never have expected this game being on PC. I actually even said, for the record, I can't remember if it was on the VCR podcast or the PixelPlay podcast. It might even be both for all I know. But I said straight up, I don't expect Uncharted to ever be on PC because that's Sony's bread and butter. You want to sell the console because of Uncharted. Well, I guess I was wrong on that one. I will say, though, I'm definitely weirded out by it only being Uncharted 4. Because if you can get 4 on PC, even if you could just like have an emulated version of it, why wouldn't you put the Nathan Drake collection full up first? Because there are probably PC players that have never owned a PlayStation, so they've never played Uncharted. Starting with Game 4 is a bit of a weird one, considering that there's already a pre-established relationship. Like Nathan legit has kids in this game. There's like all these characters and stuff, like there's so many references to other games. Like you would be missing out a little bit if you didn't play the original trilogy. Not to mention, I'm not a fan of games getting released on consoles without the prior versions being up there, if it's possible. Yeah, I've only played through Uncharted 2. I've played all three of the trilogy. I will give the hot take that I actually don't think the original trilogy is all that good. I've seen people talk about how Uncharted 2 was like the best game of all time, and I played Uncharted 2 and went, it was okay. Like, if I was to give, like, ratings, I gave the original Uncharted a 5, 2 I gave a 7, and then 3 I gave a 6. But then I played Uncharted 4 because it was free, so I didn't have a choice. I'm like, you know what? I gotta play it. Like, it's free. I gotta play it, because it's gonna be pretty epic. And I fucking love Uncharted 4. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Uncharted 4 was amazing. Like, as someone who didn't was not in love with the trilogy, I was shocked how much I love 4. I fucking adored that game. Like, that's like an 8 to 9 out of 10 game for me. That was a great game. So, I'm not complaining when PC gamers get to have it, but I do still not like it when PC gamers miss out on stuff, or gamers of any console miss out on something. Like, Joyzy and I both play Trails of Cold Steel. For some reason, the Switch is getting the 3rd and 4th games, but there's still... It doesn't seem like the West is getting the first 2 anytime soon, which is weird. Because, if you play the Trails games, you know that story's pretty important. And there's a lot of shit that goes on between 1 and 2 that 3 references a bunch, and you probably want to know. So if you've only ever owned a Nintendo console, you've never played the other games, and you can't. And that's weird. It's the same with, I believe, PlayStation 3. I think they didn't get Mass Effect until Mass Effect 3. And I think it took forever for the trilogy to finally come out. Yeah, it'll probably come later, but I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Certainly not long enough to get to have people playing 2 games that they really should be playing 2 others prior to it. Although I will say, hot take, since we're still talking about Trails, I hate people on Reddit specifically who, whenever people are saying, "Hey, I'm looking at Trails of Cold Steel. Should I try and play this?" and they say, "No, you have to go and play all the other games first." I hate that. Because I played Cold Steel, and that's all I've played in Trails. I know there's stuff you miss, but you can YouTube that. I love that, like, somebody's trying to ask if they want to get if they can get into this really cool JRPG series that I think is amazing, and then people get on there and be like, "Well, actually, you need to buy 5 more games first and play like 500 plus hours of gameplay. 2 of them that I don't even think have an official translation here in the West still. But no, you need to do that first, otherwise you can't play this game." That's so dumb. I can't help myself, Josie, because there is also a game with the same acronym called Trials in Troubled Space or something like that, and it's basically like a text porn game. And my like college brain from when I played that game still thinks of that first. Also boobs, boobs. Yeah, no. I've tried to play Trails in the Sky. I actually think it's okay. It's just the problem is it's similar to music with me, you know? Like, I love Iron Maiden. Like, Iron Maiden is my big band. But I'll still listen to more of their new stuff than older stuff because I like the audio quality better. Although I will say, I think Brave New World is such an underrated album. I think people really sleep on their newer stuff. But with music altogether, I tend to struggle listening to really old music. Just because it doesn't sound as good, because obviously the tech back then isn't as strong. I'm similar with video games, where I find it really hard to go back and play old games now. Like if on stream I had to play, like, say, I don't know, let's say the original Final Fantasy VII, not the remake, but the original, I'd probably struggle to get through that now, just because my brain would be like, this is so old as shit, I can't do it. Maybe that's part of why, going back to Uncharted, maybe that's part of why I didn't enjoy the trilogy as much, because I was already in PS4 territory, and the games were a little bit more archaic. Like, my biggest complaint about the original game was, like, the respawns were so horrible. Like, enemies would constantly come back unless you pushed up far enough. It was like Call of Duty when you play the campaign mode, and you're running, and like, enemies will just endlessly spawn until you actually cross that certain line, and then it finally despawns everything. I hate that, because it's like, these villains don't have armies of millions of soldiers. That isn't how it works. But no, like, going all the way back to Uncharted 4, man, like, it's really cool that it's going on PC, and I hope that they don't bungle the port like they did with Horizon, even though the port is amazing now. Like, my one buddy who's big on PC gaming, he played it at launch and just, it was a struggle, and now it's like amazing, and he wishes that he waited because it would have been an even better experience with all the patches in now. But, like, he loved that game so much that he couldn't stop playing it. The same will go for Uncharted 4. A lot of people are going to play it, and if it's in a not that great quality, that's really sad. Now, Days Gone apparently launched really well on PC, which is a good sign. So hopefully Uncharted gets that as well. I just hope, too, that they release the original trilogy as well, because I would hate for people to miss out on those games. But, I mean, what am I going to say otherwise? Like, it is what it is. Like, I think people are more or less happy that they're just getting something, right? Oops. That is not the NPC. Who knew talking so much fucking kills your throat? God damn. Okay, I guess I can take that picture off now. What's the next thing I want to go over? You know what? Since we're technically playing actually, you know what? I'll end with the Final Fantasy stuff. I'll do one more thing first. So I'm gonna throw this up on the browser for a second and then minimize it afterwards. So, anybody who has played the Assassin's Creed games, if you've played through most of them, you probably played Black Flag and loved the shit out of it. You probably adored that game. How do I know? Because I did too. Because Black Flag is probably my favorite Assassin's Creed game. So when that game came out and was as awesome as it was, people wanted more. Because the pirate aesthetic is always a pretty cool aesthetic. I mean, when you really think about it, it's been such a cool aesthetic, and yet it's been pretty underutilized. Like, how many, like, top-end pirate games can you think of? There's not many. There really isn't actually that many, which is kind of disappointing. Like, I remember going, like, way back in the day, like, I remember playing Sid Meier's Pirates, but, like, it's not the most involved game. It's not like a crazy game. And in this day and age where we have, like, all these crazy adventure games, aside from, like, Sea of Thieves, there really isn't a lot, at least in the, like, the big mainstream, like, AAA, like, line. So when Ubisoft was going to make a game called Skull and Bones that would be, like, their follow-up to all the people that love Black Flag, this has been, like, almost a decade ago. And it still hasn't come out. And why is that? Because apparently, it restarted development a second time now, and clearly will not be launching in 2021. I love that part of the title. It's restarted development and will not launch this year. No shit, I'd be amazed if a company could put out any sort of game in 6 months at this point. But, this game has been possibly in development for like a decade now, and they still can't come out with anything. They had a cinematic trailer at best. That's the most they've done. I think I finally got my airship ticket. I think it's finally happening. But yeah, this game has had forever to come out, and it's such a simple thing. It's such a simple thing. All you had to do was make Assassin's Creed Black Flag without assassins. That's all you had to do. It's so easy. Just make a pirate game without assassins. Isn't Beyond Good and Evil in the same situation? Oh, we don't talk about that game either because we're trying to avoid any further depression. But yeah, it is. Because, you know, Ubisoft seems to love giving you games that you're not asking for, and then proceed to, like, constantly never come up with updates for the two things you want. Did anybody ask for a second Crew game? I don't think so. Like, how many people are still playing Just Dance? Probably more than I think, but probably still not that many. And yet, people have been asking forever for, like, an Assassin's Creed pirate game again, and that hasn't happened. People have been demanding, like, Beyond Good and Evil forever. And then that trailer came out, and we were weirded out by it, but still excited because the name was there, and then we haven't heard anything since. That's not a good sign. But it's okay, Ubisoft isn't the only developer pissing people off right now. So, I'll get to that in a minute with Final Fantasy. But I don't get it. Skull and Bones is the easiest game to make. I'm not even, like, being hyperbolic. You could copy and paste the map of Black Flag and just say it's like 100 years in the past, maybe even less. Like, you could even go like 20 years. 20 years. Even 10 years. Even 5 years. Like, you could go like a year before Assassin's Creed. Have I seen the Endwalker trailer? No, because I don't actually own this game, I'm not really paying attention to the new stuff, unfortunately. I mean, I'm sure there's some cool stuff going on there, but, like, I'm so far behind, and I'm only going to be, like, getting to Heavensward that, like, man, although I'm not going to lie, I really do want to play this game more because I want to be a Red Mage, because Red Mages sound really fucking cool. Not going to lie. Skull and Bones was so easy. All you had to do is you could literally take the entire map, copy and paste that, take most of the assets from Skull and Bones, and then just do a story. Just take the Templar Assassin stuff out, and then just do a story. It can be like finding treasure, or you're this son of a pirate captain who is betrayed, and you're trying to get revenge, and what? There's so many ways you can go about it, but that's all it is. You could literally just copy and paste, and then make a new story. That's all you have to do. And they can't even do that. Because it sounds like they're trying to, like, reinvent things. To which I think most people have kind of said, guys, we don't need you to go like crazy over the top with this. We just want you to just make the same thing again without assassinations. That's all. That's all we want. Maybe you got to add a little bit more gun stuff in there, but other than that, you don't got to do much. Like, we'll take basically Assassin's Creed with pirates. We'll take it. We'll absolutely take that. And Ubisoft is like, no, we have to fuck this up twice. And maybe 3 times. And still keep going. Honestly, I think they should cancel this project, to be honest. If you have to restart it twice, you cut your losses. Just, you know what? Cut your losses and just get the team to remaster Black Flag. That's it. Just get them to remaster Black Flag, and it'll probably be just as good as we can get. What's your opinion on Dragon Quest 11 or 12, by the way? I don't know. I haven't really seen gameplay. I've heard that they're going to be changing up the system a little bit, although I can't tell if that means there's going to be like a little bit more gimmick and it's still turn-based, or if they're going away from turn-based. I hope that's the latter is not the case, because that's why I'm angry at Final Fantasy right now, which, like I said, I'll get into in a moment. But from what I saw from I mean, like, I really love Dragon Quest 11, so I'm definitely down to see what 12 is going to do. I actually never really played a lot of Dragon Quest, because, I mean, most of it wasn't really available here. I played 8, but for some reason didn't get too into it, which I'm surprised by, because I love JRPGs, and that was my JRPG kick at the best on PS2. I don't know. Maybe it's because there wasn't enough boobies in that game. I don't know. I was a teenager back then. That's the best I can come up with. But no, I'm definitely curious what's going on with that. It would be interesting, but like I'll say with Final Fantasy, actually, you know what? I've pretty much said most of what I want to at Skull and Bones, so I'll move on to Final Fantasy. But really, to cap it off, like, Ubisoft, it's such an easy game. How is this working so horribly against you? Like, anything that they release at this point, I'm just expecting to be horrible. But I digress. So yeah, since we were talking about, you know, Dragon Quest adopting this thing, so what's been bugging me a lot recently is the idea that I haven't had a core turn-based Final Fantasy since 10.2, basically. Because 12 adopts more like what Final Fantasy 14 does. 13 was literally a click this and you watch the battle system. And then 15 tried to be Kingdom Hearts. Which, don't get me wrong, I don't hate Kingdom Hearts. I love Kingdom Hearts. But I wasn't looking for that in Final Fantasy. It was still okay, but it wasn't the greatest. And now it seems like 16 is going to be more of that, which is a little irritating. Yeah, 16 looks to be a lot like Devil May Cry. Like, it looks like almost like they're trying to make it hack and slashy, which doesn't help me when there's a rumor that Team Ninja is also working on an action game with Final Fantasy's label. And I go, guys, did you forget what Final Fantasy was when it was actually made popular? Like, I know that we made side games like Dirge of Cerberus and Dissidia and Tactics and all these things. Like, don't get me wrong. There's been some cool stuff. A lot of people hate Dirge of Cerberus. I actually fucking really like that game. I thought that game was fun. I thought it was a good attempt at doing something pretty crazy for a Final Fantasy game. But we have not seen a numbered, because I've seen people be like, oh, there's I think it was like Heroes of the Four Warriors of Light or something. Four Heroes of something. And it was on like DS. I think that's possibly the last Final Fantasy labeled turn-based game, because it was a lot like Bravely Default. But in the numbered franchise, the last turn-based game is 10-2, which I said earlier on stream a lot of people don't like. So if you go back to like ones that people actually liked, it's 10. And that's 2001. So it's 20 years. Almost 20 years to the day since we've gotten a turn-based JRPG Final Fantasy game. 20 years. Now, I know that Square knows this, they just don't seem to care, but Final Fantasy became famous not because of the name, not because of chocobos, not because of anything else other than its gameplay and its storytelling. And as we've seen in the last couple of games, storytelling is not that good either, so they're not really doing any of it. Because I hate 13 with a passion. I actually don't mind 13 too. It's okay. But I hate 13, and I refuse to play Lightning Returns because it sounded like Dead Rising the JRPG. And any core JRPG fan will tell you that the second you put a timer On a JRPG, the game sucks because the whole point of JRPGs is doing everything. It's looking for all the treasures, doing all the side quests, doing everything else but the story. That's JRPGs. And Lightning Returns was like, hey, you only have this much time to do this, so you better pick your spots. That's not a JRPG. That pissed me off. And then 15 came out. I won't talk shit about 11 and 14, obviously because A, I'm playing one of them right now. And B, I mean, I only didn't like 11 because I couldn't find people to play with. That was my biggest problem. Now I can solo 14, I'm still happy. But 15, I have the weirdest love-hate relationship with. The first half of 15, other than the battle system being a little wonky, like I saw, sometimes the camera just really can't keep up with it. But like, you know, for the most part, I can handle it. But the story, honestly, outside of like the relationship between the main characters in that game, the story sucks. I'm just gonna say it, the story sucks. And when you get to the boat in Final Fantasy 15, most people who have played the game in full know exactly where I'm talking about. As soon as you get on the boat to go to a certain place, the game suddenly goes, we don't know what the fuck we're doing anymore. The story is nonsensical. There is nothing to like about it. The decisions they make are absolutely insanely stupid. And I think it's still my most watched video on YouTube. Right after I finished the game, I made a long-ass 1-hour rant about everything I hated about that second half. Because I was so angry that a game that I loved that much just completely withered away all the goodwill that I had for it. So I haven't truly, like, enjoyed a game since 10 and 10-2. I've, like, tolerated 12. I've gone back and tried to play with the Zodiac Age. Still couldn't finish it. I don't know, the story just doesn't capture me, so it's really difficult. But, I don't hate that one in comparison to how I hate 13 and 15, at least in terms of the second half. Like, I was one of the people that, at the end of the game, you pick a picture to bring with you at the end, and that gets shown in the end credits scene. I literally just picked a picture of Sydney, because I'm like, you know what? I don't give a shit. You're just getting a girl. You're just getting boobs as the final picture. I saw a lot of people did like a picture of cup noodles, like things like that. Just really stupid stuff. Because you know what they wanted you to do in that game was to take like a picture of you with like all your friends. But I was like, screw you guys. I am making this game look as dumb as possible for my own personal enjoyment, and that's what I did. So now here we sit at 16. And 16 sounds like it's going to be more of the same, if not even more action-packed than 15 was. And now this Team Ninja project is being rumored about. And I have a really shaky relationship with Square as it stands. Because, like I said, they haven't made a turn-based game in 20 years now. They also refuse to ignore the fan base that is so clamoring for a Chrono game. Because they apparently seem to have forgotten that Chrono Trigger is quite possibly the best JRPG ever made in existence. And Chrono Cross is a great sequel. I've seen some people say it sucks. I don't fucking like those people. Those people can shove it. Chrono Cross is a great game. And they haven't made one of the... Well, actually, here, even for that. Like, we haven't had a turn-based JRPG in 20 years. How long has it been since Chrono Cross? How many years have we have been since a Chrono game? 99, so yeah, we're definitely over 20 years. That's pretty brutal. Square Enix, their Western division seems to be doing pretty well. Like Tomb Raider and all that stuff seems to be going pretty well. Okay, not Avengers. Sorry, I misspoke. Avengers went... Actually, no, I'm lying too. Avengers went totally just fine, guys. Avengers was great. No one had a criticism about it. No one totally didn't buy the game after playing the demo because it was a giant piece of shit that was trying to be Destiny, but without any of the good stuff. But for the most part, the Western division of Square Enix is doing okay. It's doing decently. The Japanese part, other than Dragon Quest at this point, is taking a piss on all their fans. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't fans that love the action stuff with Final Fantasy. I'm not saying that they shouldn't have those things. I'm not saying that they shouldn't exist. But the core of Final Fantasy's fan base are the people that grew up with either the original on NES, that grew up with 2 and 3 on the Super Nintendo, or 4 and 6 because Square thought we were retarded and couldn't play the original 2 game, or the original 2 and 3. It's like Super Mario 2. Apparently Japan thinks we're all stupid. They're right, but that's not the point. Or you grew up with like 7, 8, 9. Some people have now at this point have grown up with 10. And yeah, there is a fan base that's grown up with 13. We don't talk about those people. No, I'm just kidding. But a lot of their core fan base are people like me that grew up with the older stuff. And I'm sure a lot of people that maybe started with like the PlayStation games have probably gone back and played the Super Nintendo ones and went, wow, these are good. I can still play Final Fantasy 4 and 6 and think they're like fresh new games. Because the Super Nintendo's aged tremendously. You can play those games and think that they could have been indie games released this year on Steam. Like, that's how good the graphics have aged for that console. And the stories of those two games. Specifically 6, because 10 is my overall personal favorite, but I recognize 6 is the best game that's ever been made in the series. That's how I look at it. 6 is so good. 6 does everything right. And has literally the best villain in JRPG history, in my opinion. But there's all these people that have gone back and then played some of the new stuff, played the old stuff. Most people will agree that Final Fantasy at its best is when it was turn-based. Because I don't think a lot of people are going to sit here and tell you that Final Fantasy has been at its best at 12, 13, or 15. I don't think there's that many people that will say that, you know? So, that's been an issue for a while. So on top of all of that, now we're potentially having another numbered franchise that are not going to be the core gameplay of turn-based RPGs. Am I lost? Oh, there was... That looked like a wall from a distance. That was weird. It looked like a friggin' wall from that angle. Threw me the hell off. We've got at least 2 antagonists in 14 that give Kefka a run for its money. Well, I guess I'll find that out at some point if I ever play this game long enough, but I cannot confirm nor deny this fact, but I will take your word for it. But like for 6, and look, I guess I'm spoiling a really old game, but 6 is one of those few cases where the villain is actually a villain. Like, not like what a lot of Final Fantasy games unfortunately do, which is, actually, this person was pulling the strings the whole time. No, Kefka's legitimately like the most evil person in the fucking game. Like, he murders innocent people like it's a fucking game to him. He literally takes what you think is going to be the end boss and kills him. This motherfucker was like, nah, man, this is my game. Fuck all y'all. And that's what he did. That's what he did. It was amazing. And he actually won. Like, when you really think about it, Kefka is one of the few villains in video game history that actually wins. He actually wins. It's insane. It was so good. It blew my fucking mind as a kid. Because you don't expect it. You always expect to overcome, like, the most evil. And you lose. So, man, like, all the memories that a lot of people have. And I know that my nostalgia is partially biased when it comes to how I feel about the newer games. But it doesn't change the fact that, like, the series became the absolute juggernaut of a franchise that it is because of those turn-based games. And because the stories were so good. Because, and if people disagree with this, you can say, but I think that you get the best stories possible when your focus isn't on gameplay. Because turn-based JRPGs, while they can still be complex, they're still pretty easy to code. They're still pretty easy to make in comparison to an action game where you have to worry about camera angles, all these button inputs that are like frame perfect and all these things, not to mention AI. So it's hard to focus on story when you're spending so much time dealing with getting your gameplay set up. Whereas with turn-based RPGs, you basically just gotta put in stats and let the game figure it out itself. So it leaves you a lot more room to make these incredible stories, and that's why, like, in my general opinion, most of the best RPGs ever made are turn-based because their stories are so much more over the top. Like, there's so much detail. Like, again, because Joyzy's here, look at fucking the Trails games. Find me a game that has such an amazingly massive cast of characters that you don't lose in the shuffle. If this was an action game, it'd be impossible to have a cast of like 50, 60 characters. Like, the amount of party members that you have by the end of Trails of Cold Steel is insane. And yet I don't feel overwhelmed by it. I feel like I know exactly who the tier is of all my characters. And I know the backstories of most of these people. I know what their gimmick is. I know their personalities. I know what they look like. I know their names. I know all that stuff is remembered. And it's because the gameplay is not so complicated that you're not too busy worrying about stuff. You can focus on all the little intricacies. So with a turn-based game, it's easier for the stories to come through. That's why a lot of people tend not to talk very much about 12, 13, and 15 stories. Because, I mean, let's be honest, no, they're not great. I feel like I shouldn't be here. Where is this map wanting me to go? I think I should, yeah, I don't think I should have gone up. I think I should have been going down. Because this is dangerous. Also, I might die here. I better be careful. Whoop! I should not be in a level 30 area at level 19. I might get destroyed. Yeah, I think I'm on the right path now. That would have been a nightmare. Yeah, like the turn-based games were always better for story. And now Square has been trying to become an action franchise for some reason. And their stories have suffered because of it. I'm not saying 12 is bad, but it's not nearly as great. 13, I will say, is bad. 13.2 is just amazing to me that it actually did a good job. I'm still surprised to this day that I actually enjoyed 13 as much as or 13.2 as much as I did. And 15, I don't think I ever enjoyed the story. I think I just really enjoyed the four main characters because they just had such a good like chemistry with each other. It just worked really well. But here we stand, like, I'm interested that 16 is going to be a little more mature, apparently. But, like, maturity doesn't mean shit to me if it's gritty and if the story still sucks. That's the worry that I have. So I'm worried that it's not going to matter in the end because the story is just going to be as dull and boring and lifeless as they've been for the last, like, decade almost. Like, if you don't count 14, which, from all accounts, have said that it's amazing. Including mine for the little that I've played of it, because I've only gone as far as, like, level 35. I haven't played much of this game still. It's still really good in comparison. But, like, the numbered games that are single-player, they don't get nearly as much praise. I don't hear that much about 12, 13, and 15 from people. It still always goes back to 10, 7, 6, usually those three. Then you maybe get 4 and 9, and then, if you're lucky, people will talk a little bit of nice things about 8, because we really don't like a lot of things about that game. But we don't talk about that game as much. And now with this Team Ninja thing, it makes me feel as a Final Fantasy fan that I'm being ignored. And since the 13 games, I gave 15 15 was supposed to be their last chance. And the only reason I'm letting 16 take a shot is because I actually really enjoyed the first half of 15. Even though the gameplay is a little bit struggling at times, I love the world. I love the open worldness of it. The music is amazing in that game. The aesthetic's pretty cool. Like, a lot of it's done really well. And then the story just completely fucks itself. So, I'm willing to give it one more shot, but I'm not trusting it very well. And it worries me because, like, I'm just waiting for it to be so bad that I'm just done. Like, I've honestly said for the record now that if 16 doesn't, like, at least hit, like, 8 out of 10 to me, I might actually stop playing Final Fantasy altogether. I don't even care if they put a turn-based back. Because right now, there are 3 series out there, unless they screw up Dragon Quest as well, if they try to change that one as much as they've been changing Final Fantasy. But, like, Dragon Quest has been doing well for me now. Persona has been, up until me meeting Trails, Persona has been literally the game that makes me go, this is everything that I've wanted Final Fantasy to be for the last, like, X amount of years. Now, they don't put them out as much as Final Fantasy games, so there's a reason for that. It's because they're really fucking good. Oh my god, they're super... I'm not even attacking the right person. Whoops! Persona 3, 4, and 5 are phenomenally good games. I'm so glad the PC gamers, by the way, got Persona 4 Golden, because that is legitimately the best Persona game on the market to this day. I really like Persona 5 Royal as well. I hope that gets put on PC. And it's a real close second to Persona 4 Golden. I actually didn't like Persona 5 Royal that much when I first played it. Now I got back into Royal. I think because I'm older and I have some different opinions on the way the story is told in 5, that I actually opened up to it a bit more. I was in a much different mental state playing Persona 5 Royal that I actually really associated well with a lot of the themes of of the 5th game. So it worked out pretty nicely that way. So that was great, because I was really worried that I was finally going to have a Persona game I didn't like. But nope, that wasn't the case. So I'm pretty happy about that. What's that sound that I hear in the background? Oh, so I guess somebody's running the bath above me, because it sounded like it was like hard rain on the glass. It was crazy. But yeah, Persona 5 was really good too. And then, like I said, the Trails games have been absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Like, some of the best games I've ever played. Trails of Cold Steel 3 is now top 5 all time of all games I've ever played. And it's really hard for new games to do that because it's got to beat a lot of nostalgia to get there. So that really means something if it's able to pull that off. But that's how good it is. So I'm going to be sitting here with, you know, Final Fantasy 16 going, please, for the love of God. Like, I know you don't want to make turn-based JRPGs anymore, but at least, like, make that story so goddamn good that it's hard to ignore. And then I'm going to ask politely again, assuming 16 doesn't make me completely want to quit playing Final Fantasy games, just for our sake, just to throw us a fucking bone, it doesn't even have to be Final Fantasy 17. It doesn't even have to be that. But make a Final Fantasy game that's old school. I'm not talking so old school that it's like original NES Final Fantasy, but like 9, for example. Make something like 9. If you can do that once, it'll make us believe that you're at least paying attention to us. Because for 20 years, I don't feel like I'm being paid attention to. And because unfortunately I'm a fanboy and it's really easy to leave me alone for a little while, you've gotten away with a lot for too long. And then it's unacceptable now. It needs to change. And for me personally, that change is going to come if 16 doesn't get me. If it doesn't work, I'm done. I'm super done. So it's unfortunate, but that's the reality. Because you haven't made a game that I've loved with the Final Fantasy name on it in 20 years, if I don't count the MMO. If I don't count this game we're currently playing, I have not enjoyed a Final Fantasy game in about 20 years. Like, truly enjoyed to the point that it's going to sit on my shelf. It's like, I don't have 12 on my shelf. I don't have 13 or 15 on my shelf. I got rid of them because I don't want them. But I have 7, 8, 9, 10, and 10-2 up here. No prob. If my parents didn't throw shit out, I'd still have 4 and 5 or 4 and 6. But my parents didn't understand, the whole idea of you can keep stuff. You don't have to throw things out just because you don't use it anymore. I wish I had the clarity of mind to say something, but I was what? Less than 13? I wasn't even a teenager at that point? Yeah, you're not really thinking that far ahead. But it is what it is. I'm just praying that, like, I don't want like a game perfectly tailored to me. I just want like the idea that at the very least, like, there are games that are going to be released with that label on it that I'll at least like be really excited to play at launch. Because I really wasn't too, like, I was curious about 15. And I still ended up playing it at launch because I had nothing to play. I was also unemployed at that time, so I really needed something to do. But, I wasn't, like, overly excited for 15, because I didn't like the fact that it was turning into what looked like an action game. I was like, that's weird. Like, why would it want to be an action game? That doesn't make any sense. So here we are. And we'll see what happens, but, I'm not gonna lie when I say that my confidence levels are not high for it. I'm not gonna lie when I say that. It's really worrying. I should really stop running in a circle, because I can't keep up with the camera on it. But yeah. I'm in full belief that I'm getting prepared for something that I'm gonna hate. And if that's the case, I'm ready to be done. Target him. There we go. I've never really gotten into the Tales series. I don't know why. Like, I really liked Tales of Fantasia as a kid when I played, I think it was an English translation ROM back in the day. I also played Tales of Legendia on the PS2, and I didn't mind it. But, like, I've tried playing Zestiria and I couldn't stand it. Like, I've watched the anime, like Tales of Syria the X, I think it's called, and I love it. Like, oh my god, that's a cool show. But the game itself, I don't know, the combat just doesn't work for me. Now, my VCR podcast co-host, Jen and Chris, he loves that series, so he would probably fanboy the hell out over it. But me, I don't know. Tales never really clicked with me. I've almost gotten Berseria, but like every time I think of a Tales game, I'm like, I don't know if I want to. Because like I've watched, he doesn't stream as much anymore, but Jen and Chris, he was streaming Tales of Symphonia when he was playing that, and I watched it and went, no, I think I'd be bored of this really quick. I don't know what it is. The combat's weird to me. I've never really gotten along with it. I think it worked better when it was side-scrolling. I think that helped a lot. Now that it's in a 3D plane, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work really well with my head. But it's like the whole thing, like I've got so many other replacements for it. Like I said, like if Final Fantasy is eventually done and I don't want to play it anymore, I've got minimum 3 JRPGs that I can play. And there's plenty of stuff that I haven't tried yet or haven't gotten released, or like these little indie games on Steam that I could always try out. There's so many different options for it now. So like I don't need Final Fantasy to be there anymore. And I think that's why I'm finally at that point of like, I'm also old enough too that I'm not nearly as attached to stuff as I used to be. Good lord, my attachment to things when I was like a teenager was insane. Now I'm just like, well, if you suck, I can find something else to do. It's okay. Like, I was disappointed that Cyberpunk was a piece of shit when it came out, but I'm like, well, Persona 5 Royal's on sale, I guess I can do that. There's always something else. There's always something else you can do. Now, if the next Mass Effect sequel sucks, I might still be a little bit salty about that. But there's always a couple of things that you keep, you know, internally that you hope for the better for. Which, speaking of, I think once I finish this quest line, since I did say around 2:30 I was going to switch over and do a little bit of that because I haven't played that game in over a week, we will probably do. Because we've done a pretty good number of quest lines here. I must be getting pretty close to being able to finally travel by airship. Also, I know, right? Crystals in a Final Fantasy game, those don't ever exist. Honestly, that would be the thing too. If like Final Fantasy 17, for example, was like was getting trailered off, and it's like all you see are crystals, I'd be like, okay, I know they're serious because this is the most old school as old school can get. If I see crystals, now I'm taking them seriously, 100%. Oh yes, and that's why 14's probably good. You know what? I'm gonna make the hot take. If a Final Fantasy game has crystals, there's a good sign. Actually, wait. I think 13 had crystals, didn't it? Shit. I might have screwed myself on this. Damn it. Well, one of these days, I'll research how many crystals are in each of the Final Fantasy games, and I'll try to figure out a number that's like the threshold so I can prove my point somehow. Okay? We'll go with that. Side note about 14 that I don't really like is the idea of the screen just to get into another small room. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know why you can't just load that on the map. All right, man. Yeah, you go have fun on your stream. I'll talk to you later. Oh yeah, if I'm seeing her, that means I'm definitely getting an airship soon.
I am come to express my gratitude for your valiant efforts before the
I really hope I'm not catching a cold soon. Yeah, buddy, take care. got a good chunk of time without getting sick, but the weather has been so fluctuating the last like week that I wouldn't be shocked if I do. It was, and this is Celsius, by the way. Sorry, America, but we do the real time.
You are he.
It was like 30 degrees Celsius in the beginning of the week, and then it just plummeted to like 5. And now it's like around like 18, but at night it's still really cold, and then it's going to go back up to 30, like maybe at the end of this week. I would be shocked if I go through all of these fluctuations without getting sick, because that's usually when I do get sick, is when the temperatures are so drastically changing. I realize that I should be letting the talking go, because it's actually voice acted for once.
I offer you my humblest thanks. This gift I present to you as a small token of my gratitude.
What, the guy's hand? I mean, like, are we dancing? Is that what's going on? My guy's like, okay.
It is an age-old ceremony to renew the bond between man and elemental. Over the centuries, it has blossomed into a joyous festival encompassing Gridanians from every walk of life. I should be most gratified if you would participate in the ceremony as emissary.
Oh, such a great honor.
I look forward to seeing you on that most joyous of days.
The NPC voice acting is so hilarious.
Till then,
it's so badly campy. Oh my god.
Walk in the light of the crystal.
Either that bitch is short or that other bitch is tall as fuck. Yes, I completed the thing. I'm level 20 now, and I've missed like so many quests that I could be doing for it, but I just don't care. Let's see. So I got that ring on. I think I can put 2 rings on though, can't I? Determination is not that big a deal, so you know what, we'll do that. Isn't there... What's the key for my... Oh yeah, it's just character. Duh. Oh, I didn't put the belt on? Man, I've been lazy as shit with these. Alright. What's the next quest line? Okay, well, seems like we're still here for a bit. So you know what? I'm going to switch us over to Mass Effect. Now, normally